In the air. Left center field. Vandy boys win. A walk-off two-run homer for Troy Lanieve.
Well, we talked about the power to left center field, and I think he just did it. As he gets absolutely mobbed going across home plate. One of the few walk-offs we've seen this year, Max.
Vanderbilt's first walk-off of the year comes on a Yinzer dinger for Troy Lanieve. Commodores win it 4-2 to start this final series. What a night at Hawkins Field as Vanderbilt took the series opener over Kentucky. We are back for game number 2. Wildcats looking to get on the board in this season finale series. Good evening, everybody. Max Hers along with former Vandy infielder Andrew Harris. And Andrew, what a night last night.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, it was a packed house. Vandy came out early. Kentucky came right back. And Vandy got up at the end.
Tonight for the Commodores, it'll be Jack Leiter on the mound. 2 weeks ago, he was scratched from a start because of fatigue. Back last week, pitched really well against Ole Miss.
And against a really good hitting club in Ole Miss. Leiter, 6 innings, 2 hits, 13 strikeouts, only 91 pitches. We'll see how many pitches he goes tonight. But he had 13 runs of run support last week, so he's going to have his work cut out for him today. I mean, Kentucky trying to scrap and win and really keep their postseason hopes alive tonight.
Kumar Rocker went 7 innings last night in his likely final regular season college start. Leiter is a draft-eligible sophomore, so the same for him today as Vanderbilt's co-aces go through their final regular season weekend. Jack, 6 innings last week against Ole Miss. 2nd in D1 in hits allowed per 9 innings with fewer than 4. 3rd in strikeouts. He led the nation coming into the weekend, so he's looking to get back to the national lead tonight. Going against this Kentucky lineup, same 9, same order, same positions for UK as yesterday when they mustered just 4 hits against Kumar Rocker and Luke Murphy. Colton Kessler in the 4th spot, on base 3 out of 4 times. He has been an on-base machine, upwards of 450 this season. Vanderbilt's defensive alignment. Enrique Bradfield Jr. in center field. He's the only Commodore to start every single game this year. Tate Colwick again at shortstop. It is the same 8 in the field for the Commodores. Only change for Vandy is at DH. Jack Bolger in there against left-handed starting pitcher Kentucky's Dylan Marsh. Another great night in Nashville. We will have great clear weather all weekend long. 82 degrees, sunny, perfect conditions for ball as we get going on this Friday night. Vanderbilt can lock down a top 4 seed in Hoover and a bye into the double elimination round with a win tonight. Austin Schultz in to lead off. He's led off every game this year. Jack Leiter misses low with the fastball to get us started.
Yeah, and Kentucky, on the other hand, they need to win desperately. I mean, got to win tonight, got to win tomorrow, and also do some damage in the SEC tournament. So, going to really try and get on base early.
Schultz grounds one foul in between Jason Gonzalez and third base coach Will Coggin. Cats in the sleeveless grays tonight. Great road look. Commodores in the fresh home whites that Jack Leiter has worn every home start throughout this SEC season. Called strike, 1-2.
See, 96. That fastball is really running up there today. If he can locate the fastball and then locate that good slider, he is tough to beat.
Missed down and away. That was a fastball. Came in at 98, but wild.
Yeah, the weather definitely heating up here in Nashville. Arms getting a little loose. Saw Rocker really pumping it. Saw Luke Murphy pumping it yesterday, and Leiter coming out firing here today.
Breaking ball for a called strike 3.
Had a knee buckler there on Schultz. Had 98 on the corner that he missed, and then came right back with the slider on the outside corner. Got him.
Jack Leiter with his 120th strikeout of the season. 87 of those have come in SEC play. TJ Collette in the 2-hole once again. 5th-year senior, power hitting first baseman. held hitless last night. He was doing a lot of that against Kamar Rocker and Luke Murphy. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
And Collette saw a heavy dose of the slider from Rocker, and as such, Leiter starts him off with one. He swings through it.
Fastball for called strike 2.
So now it's a tough situation. You don't swing with the slider, and you come with 96, almost right down the middle. Now you're thinking, okay, what's he coming with here? You kind of got to pick one and guess and say your prayers.
Line to center. Bradfield towards the track. And gone! TJ Collette goes yard, and Kentucky's on the board first. Collette takes Leiter deep, 0-2.
Well, Leiter had him 0-2. I said he was going to have to say his prayers and gear up for one. He geared up for the fastball, and he got it. That fastball in the outside corner. Nice release after a tough night last night. Fastball, you see, didn't really have too much of a big swing. Just kind of got in the ground. Good extension right through the ball. Ball just carried out and out and out. See the reaction from Leiter. Off bat, I honestly thought that was going to be, just a long out, but a little extra juice behind the bat from Collette.
Breaking ball misses inside to Araj Anu, the Kentucky DH. That's the 16th homer of the season for Collette, and his 42nd in 5 years with the Cats, second most in team history. (2-0) on Anu, who was 0 out of 4 last night with 3 strikeouts. Kentucky's top 3 hitters did not get on base. They were 0 for 12 combined with 8 strikeouts yesterday. Vandy won the game 4-2 to take the series opener. Called strike. Not only was the top of the order quiet, Kentucky didn't lead at any point. This is their first lead of the series. (3-1) on Anu, who has started every game but one for the Cats this year. This is his 25th time as the DH, also played left field 24 times. Ball 4. Leiter spikes the fastball. He struck out the first guy, got ahead 0-2 on the second, then a homer and a 5-pitch walk.
Yeah, the first few batters, he was locating the fastball really well. And after the home run, kind of struggled placing it.
In his last 7 starts, Leiter has allowed 11 extra base hits after allowing just 1 in his first 49 innings this year. He's still only allowed 1 double this season. No triples, but 10 homers. Those have all come in SEC play, including a span where he allowed 7 in 3 starts combined. 1-0 on Colton Kessler, the Kentucky catcher. On base 3 times yesterday, 2 walks hit by a pitch in the 9th as well. Kessler hitting .355. His on-base percentage is .452. And that OPS, over 1,000 for the senior. 2-0.
And going through the heart of this order, Leiter definitely got to make sure those pitches are placed exactly where he wants to go. The pitch to Collette wasn't a terrible pitch. It still was, near the plate, and see what happened there. So guys like Kessler can really make you pay if you just miss it a few inches inside.
3-0. The first inning has been a trouble area for Leiter this year. It hasn't always ended in runs, but he's had trouble settling in.
Yeah, it's usually a few base runners, but once he settles in and kind of gets a good feel for his fastball and his slider. What makes Leiter so good is just being able to throw all of his pitches in any count. If he's struggling to place one of them, he kind of has to rely on the other one. And if you eliminate one of those pitches as a hitter, it makes him that much more hittable.
3-1 on Kessler.
So if you're Kentucky here, you can try and ride this thing out as long as possible. You still have a couple outs to work with. Got a runner on first base.
Solo homer by TJ Collette got us started. 3-1 to Kessler. Strike two, we're full. Morris Hodges behind home plate tonight, calling balls and strikes. Wes Hamilton, Jordan Farrell, and John Bramer on the bases. Fourth batter of the game, Leiter ready to throw his 19th pitch. It'll be a full count offering to Colton Kessler. Anu's running, line foul.
It looked like Anu got a pretty good jump there too. Leiter had kind of gotten in a rhythm, focusing more on Kessler. He didn't have a huge lead, but he was able to get a good enough jump. Definitely got to pick your times to run on Rodriguez. Not going to catch him sleeping back there.
He runs again. Ground ball snagged by Leiter. Still got him at second. And a double play. Jack Leiter gave up a home run, then struggled to locate, but gets out of it with a 1-6-3. TJ Collette goes yard for UK, and the Cats are on the board first here in game number 2. Commodores coming to bat against Dylan Marsh. Back at Hawkins Field in Nashville, Kentucky scores in the first inning on a solo homer by TJ Collette. Commodores coming to bat against Kentucky left-hander Dylan Marsh, making just his second start of the year. He was a starter the last 2 seasons. This year he's been very good out of the bullpen as a reliever. Kentucky going all hands on deck this week, moving him back into the starter's role.
Yeah, he's been pitching pretty well, so they said, let's throw him out there. Everybody has got to be ready to pitch. And got to have all hands on deck. Got a good fastball in Dylan Marsh. A good straight fastball, and changeup is really his out pitch, and you'll see a lot of those to right-handers and left-handers.
Junior lefty from Eastern Pennsylvania near Lancaster going up against this Vandy lineup. Lefty pitcher means that Jack Bolger comes back in and hits 4th for the Commodores. No Spencer Jones as the DH today, so they'll platoon a little bit there. Parker Nolan moves down to the 6th hole at second base. CJ Rodriguez hitting 5th and catching, so the middle of the order shaken up a little bit for Vandy with Bolger DHing, Rodriguez, and then Nolan down to 6th. Kentucky defense, John Rhodes back in right field. That's been his home this year. Played a couple different spots in the outfield. Leads the SEC with 7 outfield assists. Enrique Bradfield Jr. will lead off for the Vandy boys for the 34th straight game. The SEC's leader in stolen bases is quietly also in the top 5 league-wide in both batting average and on-base percentage in conference games. Very impressive for the freshman speedster.
Yeah, you kind of look at the stolen bases, but you're right, Max. I mean, average-wise and a lot of other categories, he's having a heck of a season. And for somebody that, I mean, they knew the talent was there. It was just a matter of putting him out there and letting him do his thing.
Swing and a miss. Marsh quickly ahead, 0-2.
That was a good look at the changeup we just saw there. He's going to use that again to the left-handers and the right-handers. Just gets a lot of drop and a lot of swing and miss.
Well high to make it 1-2.
And because Marsh, I mean, his fastball is going to top out at around 89, 90, so it's not going to blow it by you. But he's going to play it up and try and get you swing over it.
Hit hard. Gloved by Zeke Lewis at second. He was busy last night with Cole Stupp inducing grounders. Dylan Marsh going to try and do the same.
Exactly, and with the fastball, it has some good sink, and as well as the changeup. Going to get a lot of ground balls, a lot of guys swinging on top, and trying to use that good defense.
Marsh was a starter the last 2 seasons and went 6-7 innings and 100 pitches with regularity. This season, his longest outing is 3 2/3 innings, and his highest pitch count's 53. I expect him to go deeper than that today as the starter. Their Game 2 starter the last few weekends had been Sean Harney, previously the team's closer. We saw him getting loose in the bullpen late last night to come on in the 9th inning. He did not pitch, but he's still available out of the bullpen this week. 1-1 on Isaiah Thomas. Vandy junior right fielder from Palm Beach, Florida. Into the 2 spot with Carter Young, missing because of a dislocated shoulder for the 2nd straight game. Suffered that injury on Tuesday. So Thomas moves up in the lineup. Thomas hitting .333 this season. 11 homers, tied for 2nd on the team. 2-2.
Nice AB here by Thomas. He's taken a couple of big hacks he hadn't chased. Very patient hitter up there.
3-2.
Is he going with the rec specs I see?
Looks like it.
New look, I like it.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Change up, down and away. 3-2 fools him.
Rec specs didn't help him out on that one. It was a good looking changeup. Looks right as the fastball out of the hands. He's not able to hold up.
2 up, 2 down for Dylan Marsh, working with an early lead after TJ Collette's homer. 3rd place hitter for the Vandy boys is Dominic Keegan, junior first baseman from Methuen, Massachusetts. They've got a green monster up that way in Boston. He's from just north of Fenway Park, and he hit one over the monster here in Nashville last night for his 11th home run of the year. That was in the 4th inning and made it 2-0 Vandy at the time.
Yeah, Keegan definitely one of the guys you cannot miss with. You got to make sure that any of those pitches are going to be exactly where you need them to go. He's going to hit those mistakes. He's going to hit those hanging breaking balls or those fastballs you lead out of the plate.
Keegan's ahead 3-0. Hitting very well against left-handed pitching this year. Not a huge sample size, but 14 hits and 35 at-bats for an even .400 average against southpaws. Strike 1.
If you think about it, I mean, Vandy hadn't had too many outings or too many at-bats against left-handers, so don't have a huge sample size.
Ground ball foul. It's 3-2. This is Keegan yesterday in the 4th inning. Went out and hit this off-speed pitch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was a little bit out in front, kept his hands back, and just absolutely demolished that. It wasn't a moonshot. I mean, he got out here in a hurry. And at a time when Vandy really needed a little extra cushion there, beginning of the game. Kentucky came right back a few innings later.
We saw earlier in the season, Keegan had a lot of power to the middle of the field,
right,
and the gaps. It's been a lot more pull side down the stretch.
It has. I think that's more so just the way that people are pitching him. You know, previously, he was kind of sitting on the fastballs that people are throwing away, and now he's kind of reacting to the off-speed inside.
Marsh gets him swinging for a 1-2-3 bottom of the 1st inning. 2nd start of the year for Dylan Marsh. Up 1-0 after 1. Great night to be at the ballpark with family, brothers hanging out. Nice night in Nashville, 100% capacity this week at Hawkins Field. We expect it to remain the same for regionals and possible supers as well, with the NCAA changing up their guidelines. Tim Corbin's happy about that. He's been wanting a big crowd to come out and see one of his best teams ever. Commodores know that they will be back in the NCAA postseason, selected as one of the 20 possible regional hosts, and are widely named as national seeds. So Coach Corbin charting that last inning as Jack Leiter goes back to the mound for the Vandy boys against Nick Mingione's Wildcats. 5, 6, and 7. There's the Kentucky skipper, Mingione, in his 5th season. One of his first underclassmen recruits leading off the 2nd inning. That's John Rhodes, 5th place hitting right fielder. Was responsible for both of their runs last night. Hit a 2-run homer off Kamar Rocker. Drilled a fastball over the left field wall. Waits back on that curveball. Hits it to Tate Colwick deep in the 6 hole. And Keegan picks it out of the turf.
Colwick playing a little bit in the 6 hole and used to kind of sticking over at second base, but with Young out, plays over there, has to test out the arm. Got to get over it a little bit extra. Nice little short hop. Keegan picks him up.
Kolwick at shortstop for the second straight game. He played that position his whole life leading up to college, but had never started there in a Vanderbilt uniform until last night with Carter Young injured. Nobody on, one down for Chase Estep, sophomore third baseman. First pitch swinging, bouncer to the right side, and Parker Noland, who's back at second for the second out.
I think the thing Kolwick was saying is, he likes second base because you just have a little extra time. And we saw Nolan had a lot of extra time there. So I think the biggest thing for Kolwick, is making that adjustment to say, hey, once you get that ball in the glove, got to pop it out. But a lot of movement around the infield, and Tim Corbin does a good job in the fall of kind of switching guys around, letting guys play different positions. So situations like this, they're ready for.
2 soft outs on just 3 pitches for Jack Leiter, with Ryan Ritter stepping in. Sophomore shortstop has started every game for UK in his first year with the team as a JUCO transfer from John A. Logan College in Illinois. Quickly down 0-2. Jack right back on the mound. He never wavers from the rubber. Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about a 6-pitch inning from Jack Leiter? A 1-2-3 frame. Commodores still down 1-0. Great night in Nashville, still 1-0 Kentucky, leading the third-ranked Vandy boys as we go to the bottom of the second. Max Hers and Andrew Harris with you. We found out last week, 20 teams named potential regional hosts by the NCAA. Announced a couple weeks earlier than usual because of COVID protocols. 16 of these teams will host regionals. Vanderbilt is one of them.
Yeah, see everybody in there. I mean, you see a lot of SEC teams. I actually saw a projected field, of the different regionals, and one actually had Louisville as a number 2 seed at Vandy, and I thought, you know what? If that happens, I might actually call the selection committee, because that has just happened so many times where Vandy is pitted against Louisville. I just kind of want them to have a little more creativity.
Jack Bolger leading off the second inning for the Commodores against Dylan Marsh. Bolger back in the lineup as the DH, hitting cleanup. Did not start in any of the last 4 games for the Commodores. Back in there against the lefty pitcher. Freshman making his 36th start of the year, including 20 as the DH. Inside outs this one for Vandy's first base runner. Jack Bolger back in the lineup and back on the board with a single.
Bolger, a big, strong guy, got in on the hands. There's a well-executed pitch there by Marsh. Take a look. Got in on the hands, kind of inside out of the swing, but it didn't matter. Just popped it right there in front of Rhodes, the right fielder.
So Bolger back in the lineup over at first base with David Macias. Now another Commodore looking to break out of a slump. C.J. Rodriguez 0 for 12 over his last 4 starts. Dating back to the entire Ole Miss series. 0 for 3 with an intentional walk. That happened in the 9th inning yesterday. Bolger at first base. 2 out of 2 stealing bases this season. Rodriguez at the dish, sophomore catcher from Newport Beach, California in Orange County. 1-0 on him.
Starts him off with a 1-0 changeup on the outside corner. Just testing the waters. Morris Hodge is keeping a pretty consistent game all night.
Outside again, 2-0.
And because Marsh doesn't have the fastball that's going to blow it by you, he's just going to try and nibble on the corner, try and get you as a hitter, get yourself out. Swing at pitches that think you can hit, but you hit off the end of the bat, or swing over pitches and roll into double plays. And a lot of times, pitchers that you kind of know what they're trying to do are even more difficult to hit against, because if they can execute it, that ball kind of goes underneath your bat with the changeup, and it's just tough to even make the adjustment.
Lined out to right field. Rhodes towards the corner, makes the catch. Nice running play by John Rhodes for the first out.
Might have been some sort of confusion on the field, I'm not sure, but take another look at the nice play from Rhodes going to his left.
Kentucky was looking to throw to second base there. I'm not sure why. Bolger didn't get all the way to second and not retouch. I don't think John Rhodes knows what happened either. Bolger's still at first. Bottom of the second inning here in Nashville. Parker Noland up for the Commodores. Sixth place hitting second baseman. After Jack Bolger led off the inning with a single to right against Dylan Marsh. Marsh gets in strike one. Kentucky ahead 1-0 on a solo homer by TJ Collette in the first inning off of Jack Leiter.
Now it's the first look at the curveball we've seen from Marsh. Again, we'll use that as well as a changeup to the left-handers.
Line foul by Parker Noland. Started every game but one for the Vandy boys this year. His 21st start at second base comes tonight. Moving down from 4th to 6th in the order after going 0 for 3 with a sac bunt last night in Vandy's 4-2 series opening walk-off win. If Vandy wins tonight, they lock down a top 4 seed and a bye into double elimination in Hoover. Kentucky, on the other hand, needs to win this series to stay in regional contention. Dylan Marsh, the junior left-hander, been in the bullpen most of the year. Back into the starter's role tonight. Inside, 1-2 on Noland.
A good hold up there by Noland. He's kind of changed up his swing a little bit, or at least his approach. He used to have his hands a little bit higher, but he worked with hitting coach Mike Baxter and kind of put his bat on his shoulder, simplified some things to try and recognize those pitches a little earlier.
Another pickoff throw. How does something like that early in the process and really just with his stance help down the road in the swing?
Well, if you can recognize those pitches earlier, I mean, you can make those decisions later. And so you can recognize, if it's a changeup or fastball or curveball out of the hand. It also kind of flattens out the bat path. So when you do make contact, I mean, it's going to have a little bit more juice on it. I mean, it's going to be flatter. It's not going to be in those, weak pop-ups or kind of rolling over some of those balls that we've seen Nolan do. But he made the adjustment a few weeks ago, and I really think it's worked out.
Two and two. We've seen more throws to first base than the plate this at bat, but Noland has come back from 0-2 down to even it up.
As you mentioned, Max, I mean, Bolger not a huge steal threat. I mean, just 2 of 2 on the year, but down one. Vandy definitely known to get the runners going and get some action.
Full count. Jack Bolger led off the inning with a single to right field. C.J. Rodriguez lined out down the right field line. See if Bolger's moving on this 3-2 one-out pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. Dylan Marsh gets Noland with the 3-2 slider.
A good-looking pitch here. Starts him off kind of right on his hip. Ends it up on the outside corner. Swings right over it. Well-executed pitch, especially in a tight spot, 3-2.
After 3 straight balls as well.
Right.
Tate Colwick hitting 7th again for Vandy. 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Junior shortstop from Memphis. 1-0. Marsh has lived away from Vandy's righty hitters, of which there are 6 in the lineup today. Bradfield, Noland, and Leneve, the 3 lefty hitters, again with Carter Young out injured, missing his 2nd straight game with a shoulder injury. Two 2-0 on Colwick, who moves over from second base to Young's vacated spot at shortstop. Played shortstop his whole middle and high school young baseball life. Was Vandy's backup there as a freshman, though he never started a game in 2019. And it's a spot that fits him. Kolwick was a high school quarterback and a 4-year starter as a high school quarterback at Arlington High School in Memphis. His nickname on the Vandy boys, QB1. Now he's the quarterback of the infield. 2-1. Marsh stays away and finally gets one back over. Kolwick threw for over 10,000 yards in 4 years as a high school QB. That's top 10 in Tennessee State history. He's ahead 3-1.
Yeah, Kolwick just a heck of an athlete and really come into his own this year. Played good second base, and now with Young being out playing short, has some quick twitch muscles. I mean, he can really turn on him.
Ground ball, diving play by Estep, who gets up and gets Kolwick at first. Nice sprawling play by Chase Estep to keep Kentucky ahead 1-0 after 2 full. Fans out on the patio under the left field scoreboard at the Hawk. Kentucky leading Vandy 1-0 as we play in the 3rd inning. Max Hers along with former Commodore infielder Andrew Harris. Jack Leiter back to the mound for the Commodores, 8-9-1 in the Kentucky order. Zeke Lewis, Cam Hill, and Austin Schultz with TJ Collette's homer, making it 1-0 Cats. Since then, Leiter had some control issues to finish off the first, got out of it with a double play. Then right back on schedule with a 6-pitch second inning.
Yeah, he righted the ship pretty quickly. Been really good with the fastball last inning. Executed on both sides of the plate. If he can establish that zone, first pitch, got a long way to go as a hitter. Because then you can kind of think, or you can come with a lot of different things, and then you start thinking, and by the time you kind of process that, you're usually walking back to the dugout.
Zeke Lewis, switch hitting 5th-year senior second baseman, fouls one off. 2 weeks ago, Leiter was scratched from his start against Alabama because of fatigue. That was the reason that Tim Corbin, Vandy manager, cited. Scott Brown this week said that the big thing they saw with Jack Leiter, as he was giving up more homers over the 3 starts prior to that, his whiff rate was way down. He was getting fewer swings and misses, even though his velocity was the same, way less life on the ball. They sat him. Think it's been a good move so far.
Yeah, especially at the time in the season. I mean, you want to give him a little bit of rest, and also you got to ramp him back up here for the postseason. So give him a little bit of rest and let him go tonight. But the biggest thing with, as you mentioned, Max, I mean, he wasn't getting as many swing and miss. And I mean, the fastball, it did have a lot of light. It didn't really have as much movement. But it's always good with some young pitchers, give a little break. And also kind of reassess what's working, what's not. And then go back out there and go to work.
Swing and a miss, strike 3 with the curveball. 3rd strikeout for Jack Leiter.
A good look at the slider here. Take a look at where this thing starts. I mean, right at the front shoulder and all the way down to the ground. I mean, just has such depth. And again, like Rocker, it's really, really hard to pick that up. I mean, out of the hand, see if it's a fastball or a slider. You see the D1 strikeout leaders, a couple names on there you might recognize.
Leiter was ahead of Rocker by 1 coming into the weekend. Rocker's 11 vaulted him into the national lead last night as Hill pops one up to Kolwick. Another quick out for Jack Leiter on weak contact.
And the thing that helps Leiter out as well is just working fast. I mean, if he's able to get some quick strikeouts, a couple quick pop outs, and you as a hitter, I mean, get yourself out, you know, take a weak swing or get some weak contact. That really plays in his game, and he's just going to continue to come at you.
Starts his 2nd trip through the Kentucky lineup with Austin Schultz. Struck out looking to start the ball game. Fouled back. Scott Brown, the Vandy pitching coach, said about Leiter against Ole Miss last week after spending a week out. His stuff is back to what it looked like earlier in the season. And the thing that his fatigue was keeping him from doing in Brown's eyes, he wasn't getting through the ball. He wasn't finishing his fastball. That's something he's gotten back to, and he got another soft out. A 6-pitch second inning and an 8-pitch third for Jack Leiter. A homer in the first, but that's it so far. Commodores down 1-0. Games away from the SEC tournament in Hoover, and they're off around the bases at the Hoover Met. Great crowd at the Met, looking pretty big too. Vandy and Arkansas at the top of the league. Florida and Ole Miss trying to get into that top 4. One of them will likely be there, and somebody's going to have to miss out with Mississippi State in there as well. Kentucky, they know they'll be in Hoover. They're the 11th seed in the 12-team tournament right now. And they need a win in this series, and preferably 2, to make sure a run in Hoover would mean something for them pushing towards a regional.
Exactly. I mean, this is a big, big weekend for Kentucky. And you see, I mean, if Kentucky were to be the 11th seed and potentially play Ole Miss, Vandy's next game after this could potentially be against Kentucky again.
That's right. Yeah, that would be on Wednesday after Vandy would try to lock down a bye. Commodores can lock down a spot in the top 4 if they win this game tonight or tomorrow. 8-9-1 for the Commodores, and last night's walk-off hero Troy Leneve starts things off against Dylan Marsh. Leneve starting his 7th game out of the last 9. He had never started a game for Vandy until 15 days ago. He's found a home in the corner outfield, hitting really well. 11 out of 23 in those first 7 starts coming into tonight.
And Max, you were able to talk to Troy, I guess it was last week, even before the heroics of last night, and he was just saying how he's been biding his time and just continuing to work hard. And Tim Corbin just said, somebody's going to come through. Somebody is going to come through at the end of the season and contribute in a way that they haven't the entire season and kind of be the hero of the team. And Troy Leneve definitely been inserted and kind of making a name for himself here late in the season.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Leneve. Vanderbilt holds classroom sessions, which is when Tim Corbin speaks to the team, oftentimes give them a baseball or a non-baseball lesson. And he's preached that. Somebody will step up at the end of the season that has not played. And Leneve's been listening. He'd hoping that would be him, and it has been over these last few weekends. 3-2.
Yeah, think about guys like, Tyler Campbell. Back in Vandy's first national championship back in 2014. Xavier Turner comes out, who's a star third baseman. Tyler Campbell gets inserted in there, makes some fantastic plays, and has game-winning hit against Texas.
Leneve pops this one up. Here's what he said after his walk-off homer last night.
We knew we were going to win it. I think we came in that after the top of the 9th, and we were excited. We were ready to go because we knew we trust our hitters, and we were ready to go. We were we were all excited. We were amped up, as we should be.
The bottom of the 9th when Leneve hit his homer was arguably the least dramatic of the last 3 half innings as he strikes out here in his first at-bat today. Bottom of the 8th inning, Vandy thought they scored the go-ahead run, overturned on review on a play at first base. Then in the top of the 9th, Kentucky loaded him up. Luke Murphy got Cam Hill to fly out.
There were some high-temperature situations in the 8th and 9th last night, and definitely some fireworks. A lot of emotion spent by both teams, so both kind of having to reset and go to work today.
Jason Gonzalez in the 9-hole again for Vandy. Grounds one into the shortstop hole where Ryan Ritter lives for the second out. Back to the top, the Commodores go for Enrique Bradfield Jr. Ground out to second to start the game. Just 1 base runner for the Vandy boys the first trip through against Dylan Marsh. Junior left-hander from Eastern Pennsylvania. Played his high school ball at Lancaster Catholic. Come out of the bullpen all this season. Made 1 midweek start for a couple innings. Other than that, all out of the bullpen. 24 innings under his belt this season after serving as a starter the last 2 years. Strike 1 on Bradfield. Marsh actually started against Vandy as a freshman 2 years ago this weekend. May 17th, 2019. Went only 3 innings in a game Vandy won big. Clinched the 2019 SEC regular season title.
You'll notice Collette, first baseman, and Estep, third baseman, still playing in. You'll see actually Collette move back. But even with 2 outs, the threat of the bunt with Bradfield just shows you the dynamic player that he is. Can really open up a lot of hitting holes for him. and put the ball on the ground and beat you out with those big legs.
In SEC games, Bradfield's on-base percentage as a true freshman, .480.
Pretty impressive. That's why he's hitting up there in the first spot. Tim Corbin loves getting him on base. Really kind of the spark plug for this entire offense.
Pops this one up, middle of the field. Lewis makes the call, and he makes the catch. 1, 2, 3, bottom of the third inning for Dylan Marsh. He's allowed just one hit through 3 scoreless. Cats up 1-0. Good crowd on hand at Hawkins Field in Nashville, back up to 100% capacity. As we go to the 4th inning, Max Hers, Andrew Harris with you. Middle of the lineup for Kentucky coming up against Jack Leiter. Kentucky knows that they are in the SEC tournament and can still finish as high as 8th. That would likely require wins today and tomorrow. They know they'll be in that single elimination day, and they're going to have to win likely 2 or 3 between this weekend and the SEC tournament to get into NCAAs.
Exactly, and every time the game goes by, it gets more and more difficult for them to do that. So if they can sneak a few here and then lighten the load in the SEC tournament, where a lot of teams, kind of where they make up some of their ground, trying to get those guys at the end of the year to get them some better bids. But that Selection Sunday, I mean, we talked about it for a lot of the time this year, Max. I mean, Selection Sunday is going to be kind of a nightmare.
A lot of different scenarios this year with some teams playing conference-only schedules. Because of COVID, a lot of changes. 2, 3, and 4 for the Cats. TJ Collette responsible for the only run of the game. Solo homer to left center off Leiter in the first inning. Jack's behind him, 2-0. That was on an 0-2 pitch back in the first.
Yeah, it was 0-2. I mean, it was a fastball in the outside corner. And Collette just put a good swing on it.
Called strike, 2-1. Been all soft so far.
Yeah, and Leiter's not going to make the same mistake twice. Definitely going to throw a few wrinkles in there. Going to be smart here, 2-1.
Fastball hit up the middle for a base hit. First fastball of the at-bat makes TJ Collette 2 for 2.
Yeah, it looked like that fastball just kind of ran back over the middle part of the plate. And still at 96, Collette was right on it. Looked like he got a little bit of a nick on the glove. Still through the middle infield.
So Collette aboard at first base to lead off the 4th inning. That's the first base runner for Kentucky since Araja New walked after the homer in the first. And a streak of 7 straight retired by Leiter. Anu pulls one foul. Anu, the senior from Orlando, Florida, second year with UK. His first 2 college seasons were at Wallace Community College in Dothan, Alabama. Back in the 3-hole for this series. He hit 2nd and 3rd earlier in the season. More recently had been hitting 5th.
A good look at the slider there. You see a lot of awkward swings on the slider. Take a look at the new swing. Again, you see it out of the hand. You think it's a fastball. Or even if you are timed up with it and you can recognize it, even just making contact with it is another story.
Leiter ahead, 0-2. Tap foul.
But I will say, like Rocker and we saw last night, I mean, the more times you can see it up there in the box, the more opportunities you have to even kind of see the break of the slider and have a better opportunity to put a bat on it. Because you can see all you want on film, but until you get in that batter's box and really see the differences in the fastball and the slider and the changeup from Leiter, and that's when you kind of go to work.
Ball 1. Araja New, some family ties. Drafted twice by the Boston Red Sox, first out of high school and then out of JUCO. Turned him down twice to get to D1 ball. He'll be back in the draft this year as a senior. And I hope somebody's washing that blue tank top he's got under. 2-2. Good block by Rodriguez with Collette off first, but he got back.
The slider that broke just a little bit too much in front of the plate. A heck of a block there by Rodriguez.
Rodriguez has caught every SEC game but one for the Commodores. Called strike 3. Jack Leiter with his 4th strikeout on a fastball, 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's 96, spotted exactly where he wanted. I mean, Rodriguez didn't have to move his glove. Right on the outside corner, low. If he can live there, it can be very, very tough to hit tonight.
That's what we saw with the fastball from Jack Leiter and his no-hitter against South Carolina. Back on March the 20th, all 16 of his strikeouts in that game came on the fastball.
And he has such a great slider, too. I mean, that's what was so unbelievable, is he was getting so much swing and miss on the fastball. As you mentioned, Max, I mean, why they gave him some of that rest that they did is just because the fastball didn't really have as much life at the end of the, as it got towards the plate. He just really wasn't finishing the ball too much, according to pitching coach Scott Brown. I mean, he already has the juice behind it. I mean, it's 94 to 96 and pumps up there. We've seen 98 tonight, but he has a really high spin rate too. So I mean, the ball really it kind of gets an extra gear as it gets halfway to the plate.
Colton Kessler calls time. Kentucky catcher having a great year after a not so great abbreviated season last year. Hit .089 in 15 games before COVID stopped everything. Just 4 hits and 45 at-bats. Kessler felt like he was barreling balls up and he was ready to break out in SEC play, but it still allowed him to make a lot of changes this year. He revamped his entire approach. Certainly has worked out for him, hitting .355 as a senior catcher. His starting spot wasn't even guaranteed coming into the season. He didn't play opening weekend. Alonso Rubalcaba started behind the plate. Kessler's earned that job back as he goes out to left field and foul. 1-2. That's when you know it's foul. You don't even drop the bat. TJ Collette goes back to first base. These are the numbers for Colton Kessler. 2020 before COVID hit versus 2021. Quite a difference.
Yeah, and Kessler's definitely one of those guys that 2020 ended. He said, all right, let's just shut that down. Let's take a look at everything. Let's revamp. Let's go to work in 2021. I think COVID was pretty good for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways.
Jack Leiter strikes him out this time, freezing him with the slider.
That backdoor slider in the outside corner. Froze him up. And a good backup pitch, especially after the fastball that he fouls away. This time kind of comes out, comes right back in. Gets it on the outside corner.
Back-to-back strikeouts after Collette's leadoff single. John Rhodes grounded out to shortstop to start the second inning. Rhodes from Soddy Daisy, Tennessee, on the eastern side of the state, right outside of Chattanooga. Went to Chattanooga Christian. This one may stay in play for Colwick, and it's into the third row.
Yeah, at Chattanooga Christian, John Rhodes gave a few titles in baseball and basketball in 2018 and 19. Scored over 1,500 points in basketball. I think a lot of coaches these days are recruiting multi-sport athletes. So many guys think that they have to be so specialized, but you got to think of the different athletic movements that you get playing basketball, playing football, playing hockey. They really translate into the baseball game as well.
0-2. Good off speed from Leiter.
Leiter said, come on, let's go.
Jack Leiter ready to get back on the mound and throw, as always. Hit him. An 0-2 hit batsman extends the inning and pushes Collette into scoring position.
I think Leiter was pretty geared up to throw that another slider. He was telling Rodriguez, let's go. And that one looked like it just kind of slipped out of his hand. You saw the frustration from Leiter, not able to finish him off. But now Kentucky here in a spot to get another one on the board with runner in scoring position.
It'll be Chase Estep coming to the plate. Getting under 200 in SEC play. But up in the 6th spot for the 3rd straight conference game after he hit 9th most of the conference season. Called strike.
Last week, Leiter went 91 pitches. Tonight, 52 and 4 2/3, so still on a pretty good pace. Pretty efficient here tonight.
Leiter had retired 7 straight coming into this half inning. TJ Collette led it off with a single, then John Rhodes hit by a pitch with 2 outs. Collette hit a homer in the 1st inning for Kentucky's run, and Leiter's ahead 0-2. He's been getting ahead this inning ever since the leadoff hit.
And he's really been utilizing the slider on the outside corner to the left-handers. Kind of stealing some strikes, and now got him down 0-2. See if he tries to finish him off upstairs with the heater. I mean, he's pumped that thing up there 97, 98 today.
Jack Leiter ahead of Chase Estep 0-2. Ball 1. Did go fastball, but too far out to get a chase.
Yeah, tried to extend the zone a little bit. Estep not chasing.
Leiter 20 pitches this inning, plus 20 in the 1st. 6 pitches in the 2nd and just 8 in the 3rd. Those were both 1-2-3 frames. Miss low. C.J. Rodriguez tried to bring it up for Morris Hodges, who says no.
Yeah, ball was low, but take a look at the frame job. Pretty good job. Kind of fooled me for a second. Rodriguez really doing a good job this year and working on his framing, and that was something he really took to heart over COVID. Really trying to help those pitchers out.
Ground ball, Nolan playing deep, but not deep enough. Collette scores from 2nd, Rhodes heads to 3rd, and it's 2-0 Kentucky. RBI single for Chase Estep to double the lead.
Great execution with 2 outs by Kentucky. See the fastball on the outside corner. Estep just kind of reaches out, pulls it over to the right. And because of the shift, Nolan playing a little bit more into the 4-hole. And what normally would have been a pretty routine 4-3 out ends up Kentucky getting another run.
A little bit of 2-out lightning from UK as Collette, the leadoff single, comes around to score. He was at first base for a while. 1st and 3rd with 2 down for Ryan Ritter. Struck out his first time against Leiter on 3 pitches. Slider strike 1. Unless there's a major surprise at the MLB draft, this is Jack Leiter's final regular season collegiate start. He's already turned 21, so he will be eligible as a sophomore this year. Kamar Rocker had what we also expect to be his last regular season start last night. Went 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 11 strikeouts. Left a 2-2 tie game. Vandy won it 4-2. There's Kamar. He and Jack, great friends, always enjoy watching and learning from one another. Both have great stuff, like that slider. 2 different dudes, and they play off each other really well and pick up little pieces of each other along the way.
Yeah, they definitely kind of talk about their different pitches, talk about how they throw their cutters, how they throw their sliders. And you got to think, I mean, the number of arms that you have through this program year in, year out. I mean, yes, learning from your coaches is super important, but the time you spent in the bullpen and just kind of messing around with different pitches, that's just invaluable. And then you also get the guys who come back that are playing the big leagues and kind of pass on that knowledge to you as well. So it's just a wealth of knowledge for everybody.
Estep goes to 2nd uncontested, and Vandy will just let him have it. He took off just as Leiter was getting back on the bump, trying to draw a throw, and he just went.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was a lot of communication between Keegan or Nolan I think it also just happened so fast that by the time they realized it, they said, let's just give him second base. But heads up play there by Kentucky.
Doesn't matter. That's strike 3 to Ryan Ritter. Kentucky doubles their lead with a run on a couple of singles and a hit by pitch. Jack Leiter and the Commodores down 2-0 in the middle of the 4th. Senior day here in Nashville. Commodores honoring their seniors. Cooper Davis gets his standing ovation in front of the dugout. You go 4 years without seeing something like this. Chase Estep just goes for second, Andrew.
Yeah, I think they were trying to draw the throw. And Vandy just said, oh, we're just going to go ahead and give that to you. We're not throwing it. They're trying to draw the throw because if they did throw it, they're trying to get in a run down and at least try and score that run from third base. It's definitely some wild action here at Hawkins Field. Kentucky just trying to generate runs any way they can.
All as we honor the seniors, one at each inning break. Cooper Davis not in the lineup tonight. Senior outfielder. Before the game, they played "Oh Canada" for him over the speakers before the American national anthem. Isaiah Thomas leads off against Dylan Marsh. First pitch swinging right to Ritter on the fly.
It kind of gave everyone a head fake. I mean, everyone stood up for the national anthem, and then they started playing "Oh Canada," and people looked around like, what in the world's going on?
Nice play by Ritter, positioned perfectly. So far, it's been Dylan Marsh on the mound for Kentucky, ruining Vanderbilt's senior day and trying to keep the Cats' postseason chances alive. He's 1 out away from his longest outing of the season, pretty much all in relief. Just his second start of the year to go with 12 relief appearances. Dom Keegan takes strike 1. Marsh was a starter the previous 2 years. In his 3rd year with the UK. Pitching in a big spot today, filling a role and doing it well. Keegan struck out his first time against Marsh. Pair number 22's on the bump tonight, both working quickly. Called strike 2. 3 1/3 innings. Just 1 base runner against Marsh. That was Jack Bolger's single to lead off the second. Keegan fouls that one off. Marsh was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes the summer in between his junior and senior year of high school in 2017. He's taken his platform as a baseball player at Kentucky to help out a lot of young diabetics in the Lexington area at the Barnstable Brown Diabetes Center. And his parents have gotten involved too. His mom, Tammy, and his dad, Jeff, moved down from Lancaster, Pennsylvania to Lexington and are helping him out with his youth outreach. It's been awesome to see. And after Garrett Mitchell last year was a high-profile ball player drafted into the majors, another type 1 diabetic, it's great to see college players speak up and use their platform and show that you can play sports.
Right. And just kind of spreading awareness. And as you mentioned, Max, seeing, hey, I've got type 1, but look at me, I'm pitching in the SEC and doing a great job.
Field to first base on a swing. Bolger did not offer. Bolger had Vandy's only hit to lead off the second inning as Tim Corbin comes in to talk with the home plate umpire. Did Jack Bolger get hit with this pitch? We may review.
Yeah, Tim Corbin says at least just take a look at it. Take a look. The curveball. It looked like if it was going to hit him, it was going to hit him in the left foot. And you saw Bolger saying, yeah, it did hit me. Maybe a shoelace or two. Because it was confusing. It looked like it might have hit either his foot or the turf in front of his foot.
All while Colton Kessler was appealing to first base on a swing. And the umpires will review this one on their own accord. Don't believe this is a Vandy challenge.
Appreciate the hustle.
Take another look.
Yeah, it's tough to see. It did look like it kind of got the turf right in front.
How about the Superman on his knees block attempt by Kessler?
Yeah.
That was impressive. So Morris Hodges and Wes Hamilton will look at this thing.
I mean, if you're going to sell it, though, as Bolger, I mean, you got to go down, or you got to at least, like, say, ow, ow, and not just point to your foot and say, hey, it hit me.
Jack Bolger, the freshman DH for the Commodores, back in there tonight. Look like we've got a verdict. Didn't hit him. Ball one. So we'll pick up where we left off. Bolger, the native of Bowie, Maryland, back in the starting lineup for the Commodores for the first time in a week. Bowie, Maryland, where one of my all-time favorite Vandy boys is playing right now for the Bay Sox. Former two-way closer and superstar on the 2017 Commodore team, Reed Hayes, doing his thing in Double-A ball. Line foul, 1-2 on Bolger. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Jack Bolger's 2 for 2 in his return to the lineup.
He just put the ball in play. Good things are going to happen. It's his ball right up the middle. Zeke Lewis, a good job at least getting to this ball. If he was even able to glove it and get a throw, I don't think he would have any chance. Did have to run a good ways. But still, I mean, 2 outs, Vandy runner on. Definitely no stranger to scoring some runs here with 2 outs. Had an absolute onslaught of runs back on Tuesday. All with 2 outs.
Rodriguez hit the ball hard his first time, but caught down the line by the right fielder Rhodes. One and 0. Rodriguez 0 for his last 13 over the last 2 SEC series. See what the Commodores do here with Jack Bolger on first and one of their best contact bats up. Parker Noland on deck if Rodriguez reaches. Rodriguez, like Leiter, his battery mate tonight, will be a draft-eligible sophomore in the MLB draft in July. He turns 21 on July 7th. A lot of guys will have decisions to make across college baseball. Any of those eligible sophomores, like Rodriguez and Leiter, really only played 1 season.
Right.
The draft will be 20 rounds, so we'll see who teams go for with fewer picks than in years past. You want to get somebody that you can sign, and draft-eligible sophomores can set their numbers pretty high for signing bonuses if they want to. 3-1 on Rodriguez.
And Rodriguez actually one of the 16 semifinalists named to the Buster Posey Catcher of the Year watch list.
We got 2 of those in the house this weekend. Rodriguez and Colton Kessler both. Formerly the Johnny Bench Award. Left field. Rodriguez got under it. Austin Schultz makes the catch. 4 scoreless innings for Dylan Marsh. Kentucky leads 2-0. Max Hers and Andrew Harris back in Nashville. 5th inning. 2-0 Kentucky leading Vandy. Looking around the SEC East on this final weekend of regular season play, Arkansas and Florida are in a rain delay right now at Fayetteville. Arkansas won Game 1 last night to be the first in the conference to 20 wins, so they lead the SEC right now. Florida falls to 17-11. South Carolina fell to Tennessee last night, but they're winning right now. That would be good for Vanderbilt. If Vanderbilt wins and Tennessee loses, the Commodores move into first place in the East Division.
Yeah, still a lot of changes here. But just a couple more games to play across the conference.
A lot of moving parts still in the league, and if you're right in the middle of it, there's almost nobody you can root for because everybody who wins a game hurts you somewhere, most likely, even if a team you're next to loses. 8-9-1 for Kentucky. Zeke Lewis, Cam Hill, and Austin Schultz. Jack Leiter's thrown 60 pitches through 4 innings of work. Gave up a homer in the first inning. After that, had a string of 7 straight outs. The last inning, a leadoff single, a 2-out hit batsman, and an RBI single. Made it 2-0, and Lewis goes out to right, but Isaiah Thomas is there. Hard hit ball, tracked down by IT.
Yeah, Lewis, knowing that Leiter's trying to get ahead with the fastball, stays on the fastball and squares it up pretty well. Thomas right there.
So we have no idea who to root for in the SEC, but we do know who Jack Leiter roots for. He doesn't have a favorite MLB team. He feels he's so close to the pro level that he roots for players and individuals. And of course, his dad Al played for a lot of teams as well. He actually likes it when both the Yankees and the Mets win, he says. Good for his friends in New York. He went to high school in New Jersey. But Leiter says his 2 favorite sports teams, the Miami teams, the Dolphins and the Heat. He still loves from his childhood years in South Florida. Called strike, 1-1 on Cam Hill. And in the SEC Network feature video with Kyle Peterson and Al Leiter and Kamar Rocker's parents, we saw a picture of a young Jack Leiter in Dolphins gear. Line drive to left, Lanive came in, now he goes back and makes the catch. 2 line drives to the corner outfield and 2 outs in the 5th. Troy Lanive has a laugh about it.
Another hard hit ball on the line. Lanive kind of came in, said, uh-oh, gotta go back. Caught a little grief from center fielder Bradfield.
Oftentimes we see on high fly balls, the corner outfielder will make a catch, and Enrique Bradfield Jr. will already be behind him.
Yes.
That's how fast he is backing up his corner guys. And Tim Corbin said at the beginning of the year, before Enrique Bradfield Jr. had ever played a game in center, his speed is going to change the way we position our corner outfielders.
Right. I mean, yeah, they see how Bradfield is able to just scour that outfield during batting practice. And, yeah, even before they were playing games, they knew, hey, we can play these guys, our corners, a little bit closer to the line because we know that we've got kind of middle of the field covered.
0-2 on Austin Schultz. Jack Leiter gets another cut and a miss against the Kentucky leadoff man. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A 7-pitch, 1-2-3 5th inning for Jack Leiter. He's had 3 ultra efficient 1-2-3 frames tonight. Troy Lanive, have a laugh, buddy. Commodores down 2-0. Back in Nashville, Vanderbilt trailing 2-0 into the bottom of the 5th inning as the senior salutes continue for the Vandy boys. Each of the last 3 inning breaks, they have given a round of applause for one of their 3 senior players, Hugh Fisher, Cooper Davis, and then this last half inning, Jason Gonzalez. Also want to give a shout out to the 2 senior team managers who got honored last night, Stephen Frainer and Jackson Kelly. So those 5 Commodore seniors getting honored this year. Good to have 3 seniors back on the roster. If it weren't for COVID, who knows? There have been some years where Vandy had no seniors because of the MLB draft. 6, 7, and 8 for the Commodores against Dylan Marsh, who's thrown a 2-hit shutout so far. Parker Noland up first. Bunts one. Going to try and run it out as Marsh gloves it and gets the out at first. Collette navigates the tough throw.
And not a bad idea there by Nolan. Just trying to put a bunt down, get a base runner, trying to get something going offensively. Tries to bring it with him, just not enough towards that first base side. If anything, just trying to create some havoc, and Marsh almost throws that away, but nice job by Collette over there.
1 out, nobody on for Tate Colwick. Foul tip, strike 1.
With a birthday hack there, dang. It was 89 inside, and he was right on time with it, just fouled it straight back. Colwick definitely on time for the fastballs.
Another bunt try. Right back to Marsh once again. 2 up, 2 down.
And that's not what you want to do. If you're going to put a bunt down, especially as a bunt for a hit, you don't want to bunt it right back to the pitcher. Definitely not happy with that one. But regardless, Marsh making quick work here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, 14 outs on just 64 pitches so far for Marsh. That's a new season long and just his 2nd start of the year. Troy Leneve struck out to start the 3rd. First out he's recorded this series. Takes that breaking ball down low to make it 1-0. Leneve hitting .412, 4 homers and 12 RBIs for the man who hails from the 4-1-2 in Pittsburgh. Fouls that one off. His hometown Pirates picked first in the MLB draft, and he's been telling Jack Leiter and Kamar Rocker all year, if either of you guys go 1-1, you got a place to stay up in Pittsburgh.
I think the Pirates should enlist a little help from Leneve.
Out to left. Down the line, Schultz over, and he makes the catch. Ended up in foul territory, but Austin Schultz makes the tough play in a road ballpark.
Nice job by Schultz. It's a high fly ball. He goes all the way back. He gets on the fence, comes back, makes the play. Kentucky coming in, trying to get in a few more runs.
Kentucky leading Vandy 2-0 as we go to the 6th inning. Some young fans here at Hawkins Field, repping Mike Minor and the White Sox. We got 2 parts of the AL Central there. Mikey back with the Kansas City Royals. Andrew, your former teammate, having another great year.
Yeah, it really is. Played with Mike for 1 year. I redshirted my freshman year, so I should say I helped shag balls in the outfield with Mike Minor. Played multiple games of bucket basketball.
Fungo golf?
Yeah.
Jack Leiter back to the bump for the current day Vandy boys against 2, 3, and 4. TJ Collette been on base twice. A solo homer in the 1st inning and a single in the 4th. Will be followed by Araj Anu and Colton Kessler. Kentucky working with the 2-0 lead. Collette scored both their runs. Curveball inside to make it 2-0. Leiter's got 2 varieties of the breaking ball. We've seen both the curveball and the slider tonight. That curveball is the same breaking pitch he's been throwing since middle school. Slider, a newer addition. .3-0.
Yeah, the slider's definitely tighter and firmer. Breaking ball a little bit more 12-6. But both very effective, and I mean, if he's got every single thing working, it's tough to hit.
Opponent's batting average coming into tonight, 126 against Jack Leiter.
I'd say that's pretty good, Max.
That will play. TJ Collette hit his 42nd Kentucky home run in the 1st inning off Leiter on an 0-2 fastball. Another breaking ball. Fouled off to make it 3-2.
See that nice little SEC graduate patch on Collette? Always super jealous they didn't have those when we were playing.
Get you a t-shirt with one, Andrew. Ball 4. Jack Leiter not happy with himself, and TJ Collette aboard for the 3rd time in 3 plate appearances.
It's the 2nd slider we've seen him kind of miss arm side and be frustrated with himself on it.
We talked about Kamar Rocker and Jack Leiter picking things up from each other. Pitching with a little more emotion is one thing that Leiter picked up from Rocker. He was a little bit of a stone-faced assassin early on in his Commodore career. But it's hard to watch Kamar Rocker do as well as he does and celebrate as much as he does and not absorb a little of it for yourself. Anu fouls the first pitch back. The Commodore Co-Aces, likely their final regular season starts this weekend. They'll be cemented in Vandy history, and really cemented together in Vandy history.
Yeah.
For what they've done the last 2 seasons and the last 3 for Rocker. Manu fouls that one back. Leiter, as he has been many times tonight, ahead 0-2.
And the amazing thing about Rocker and Leiter, I mean, everybody knew they were going to be, the best 1-2 punch in the entire country coming into the season, and they have been as advertised. And it took a while for anybody to really kind of get a win or even start to get some offensive production off of any of them and even prove that they're human. But still a dangerous duo here for the Commodores.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikeout number 8 for Leiter as he gets a new with the fastball.
Yeah, take a look at the run on this thing. Had some good movement there on the outside corner. Started off on the outside and then just came off a few inches off the plate. See 8 strikeouts on the night already for Leiter here in the top of the 6th.
Talking about how good Vandy was at the beginning of the year with Rocker and Leiter on the mound. Commodores were 14-0 through the first 7 weeks in the games they started. Now 21-5 combined in games that Rocker or Leiter start. Collette still at first base with 1 down for Colton Kessler. Curveball fooled him. Soared, 0-1.
And with Rocker going on Friday night, or your first night, I mean, he went Thursday last night, but you're going to get a great outing from him. And so you get a good outing, you need somebody to come right behind him and really shut the door. Or if Rocker somehow struggles and doesn't get it, you need somebody to come back and kind of get the momentum back in the dugout. And so that Saturday guy, which Leiter has been that guy, is super important in the college game just because, you have 3 games to really do the damage that you need to. And so kind of the swing of the momentum kind of hangs right on that Saturday guy. And I think Leiter has been up to the challenge so far for the Commodores.
There have been a lot of years when Vandy has pitched their best pitcher in Game 2. Like Rocker 2 years ago. Behind the veteran ace, Drake Fellows. We expect Vandy to stick with this same 1-2 punch going into a regional format. Vandy expected to host, of course. Jack Leiter will be pitching in an NCAA postseason game for the first time. Likely 2 weeks from tonight or tomorrow here at Hawkins Field. 1-2 on Kessler. 2-2. Another curveball. This one missed outside and maybe a little up. Collette started the inning with a walk. He's been on base all 3 times. Outside of Collette, the Cats only have 2 base runners. TJ scored both of their runs. Solo homer in the first inning. Scored on Estep's RBI single in the 4th. Fouled off. Still 2-2 on Kessler.
And Kessler with a good AB here. Been pretty impressed with his approach both last night and tonight. Very quiet hitter. Kind of spreads out. Not a lot of gimmicks to the swing. When you have so many variables coming at you with the baseball, from the pitcher, more as you can simplify, the better.
Breaking ball missed outside. It's 3-2. Leiter wanted the call.
Yeah, just a little bit outside, but a well-executed pitch. You saw Kessler said, no, it's a few inches out.
Kessler gets his signals from third base coach Will Coggin. Checks the waistband. That explains what those signals mean. Full count with 1 out. We'll see if Collette's on the move. He has a very short lead. Stays put. Ground ball to the right side. Noland to second for 1. Kolwick to first. Safe. Would have been a very tough double play with a lot of mileage, but Nolan got the lead man for the 2nd out.
I thought Nolan was just going to go straight to first. I mean, he had to come a good ways to his left. Take a look. Comes 3 or 4 steps. Actually, I think takes a look at Kessler and sees that he wasn't really running that hard down the first baseline. So he said, we're going to try and turn this thing, in a heck of a turn by Kolwick. and just missed him by a couple steps.
Kolwick playing second base for the 21st time. Excuse me, Nolan playing second base for the 21st time. Kolwick at shortstop for the second night in a row, with Carter Young out with a shoulder injury. Here's John Rhodes. He played with both of those guys on the Vandy middle infield last summer in the Northwoods League for my favorite name in all of summer ball, the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders up in Wisconsin.
Solid name, you're right, Max.
Down low.
Yeah, the Cape didn't happen last year, so a lot of the high talent went up to the Northwoods League, which is still a fantastic league and probably one of the most similar to, I guess, big league life. The different teams are super far away, so a lot of time on the bus and in a very long season. But really can develop your craft up there. And beautiful parts of the country, too.
Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, the big states of the Northwoods League, plus some Illinois as well, and a little further west into the Dakotas. 2-1 on Rhodes. He'll be teammates with a Vanderbilt player this summer in the Cape League as the Cape gets back. The entire Catuit-Kettleers outfield is in the building this weekend. It'll be Rhodes, his Kentucky teammate Cam Hill, and Vandy's Enrique Bradfield Jr. going up to play for Mike Roberts in Catuit. Leiter down 3-1.
Max, you spent your fair share of time up in the Cape. What was your favorite park up there?
I did love Catuit, actually. Only got to see it twice, but my two favorites, as Leiter makes it 3-2. I'd say Chatham, which was the team I was broadcasting for, and Orleans. The two rivals on the lower Cape. A lot of Vandy guys going to Orleans over the last 10 years. Full count, 2 outs. Kessler will be off from first. Rhodes yet to swing in this AB. It's 3-2. Popped up. Nolan in shallow right center makes the catch. Jack Leiter's through 6, but trailing 2-0. Commodore is going to try and get the bats going with 9-1-2 coming up against Marsh. Sun setting here in Nashville as we get to full nightfall. Kentucky up 2-0. Fans watching from the garage across the street. Gorgeous 79-degree evening. Jack Bolger's got the only 2 hits for Vandy. Kentucky single runs in the first and the fourth to earn that lead.
And you see Marsh, a good job, 5 innings. Leiter, 6 innings. Good pitching all the way around, and you saw last night and also tonight. So pitching and defense has kind of been the story for the entire weekend, which going into here, I didn't really think that was going to be the case. I thought it might send a little bit more offense on both sides, but when you got the good pitching, as we've seen.
Jason Gonzalez, Enrique Bradfield Jr., and Isaiah Thomas hitting for the Commodores against Dylan Marsh. Been in the bullpen most of the year. Jr. making just his second start of the season. And he has performed very well. 5 scoreless innings. Allowed just 2 base runners on a pair of singles. Gonzalez ahead, 2-0. Marsh coming up on the 70 pitch mark. He has not thrown more than 53 in a game this year coming in. He was a starter the previous 2 seasons. Cats calling on him in the final series of the regular year. They had been starting Sean Harney in game 2 of their weekend series. Came in from the bullpen where he was the closer earlier in the season after Mason Hazelwood suffered a season-ending injury. Looks like Harney's back in the bullpen this weekend. Could start in Hoover. 2-2. Gonzalez in the 9-hole. One of the Vandy seniors getting their standing ovations tonight. Hitting for just the second time. Commodores only sent 2 above the minimum through 5 at-bats. Hit hard, base hit. That's hit number 3 for the Vandy boys as Jason Gonzalez starts them off in the 6th.
Well executed swing there. With a 2-2 count, fastball in the outside corner. Actually, think Marsh was trying to come in on the hands, but missed his spot. Gonzalez reaches out there, pokes it right there in the 4-hole. Vandy trying to get something going here.
Flip the order over, third time through. Starts with Enrique Bradfield Jr., who, like everybody other than Jack Bolger and now Jason Gonzalez, is hitless. Bradfield, the fastest man on the property, comes out. He's been a game changer with his speed in all ways for Vandy. Bunts this one toward first, in between Marsh and Collette, and he's safe. Enrique Bradfield Jr. creating chaos per usual.
You know, Max, we've seen enough of bunts from Bradfield that off the bat, right here, I just said that's a hit. I mean, if he puts it in the right spot, it is instantly a hit. And he's able to do that. He gets everybody to converge. He gets Marsh, Collette, and Lewis to all converge. And by the time somebody fields it, he's already at first base. He just creates so much havoc on the base paths.
Vanderbilt diagrams their bunts from the first base line counterclockwise to the third base line and assigns them all numbers 20 to 80 on the scale.
Yep.
That was a 40. The
Yep.
bunt designed to go in between the pitcher and the first baseman.
That's true, Max. They haven't changed those over the years.
Is that the one we've seen the most of from Bradfield?
It is. Yeah, the 40 is definitely the one we've seen the most from Bradfield. He'll lay down a couple of 50s, which is on the third base line, but if he can pull that with him and kind of just create, you know, force the first baseman to choose, do I have to field this or am I going to have to stay at first base? If he can create that decision, then he's instantly got that hit.
Mound meeting with Kessler and Estep. Austin Strickland and Holt Jones warming up in the Kentucky bullpen. As my favorite mound visit music plays, the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song. A mound visit classic. So that will count as a visit. Kentucky only has 6 of them. Not sure what this discussion is about between Morris Hodges and Colton Kessler.
Are they pointing towards the dugout?
Something going on over in front of the Vanderbilt dugout right now. Isaiah Thomas needed his rec specs back, I guess. Maybe they aren't his and they're coming from somebody else.
Maybe need a little Windex.
Nick Mingione's wondering what's going on too.
Regardless, we're back to playing baseball.
Or so we think, as the corner guys now run in towards the mound and back off. Kentucky infield expecting a sacrifice here. We'll see what the Commodores do. First and second, nobody out, down a pair. Isaiah Thomas hitting. Step off, and Thomas did not show a bunt.
AC Estep over at third base playing in. You see Collette over at first base playing in as well. Playing in, hoping and prepping for the bunt, but also still in double play opportunity zone.
Thomas, 8 runs driven in his last 9 games. Looking to add to that if he ever sees a pitch. Might have to cue up the Larry David once again. Another throw somewhere other than the plate. What has it been, 4 or 5 minutes since our last pitch here? It's on both teams. I mean, it's not just Kentucky slowing the game down. It's on both sides.
Crowd's getting restless.
I'm getting restless too. Dylan Marsh facing Isaiah Thomas after a couple of singles to start the inning for Vandy. Down low, Gonzalez going to third. Bradfield follows him to second. They're in scoring position with nobody out.
There's a heads-up baseball there by Gonzalez. This ball doesn't get too far from Kessler, but because he sees it right off of the bounce, see how quickly he's able to make that decision. And Bradfield quickly reacts, realizes his buddy's taking that third base, and he's going to take that second base as well. So Commodores with 2 guys in scoring position here quickly.
Vandy being shut out, but the tying run in scoring position. Corner guys still in. Middle infield a few steps off their regular depth. As Colton Kessler will go back to the mound, we'll see if this is another visit or what becomes a pitching change. Jones and Strickland were both fully warming up in the Kentucky pen. And it looks like this will just be another mound visit.
Yeah, it looks like Kessler just trying to get everybody on the same page, but actually, now it does look like there might be a little bit of a change. You see Strickland and Jones getting told to get hot.
Pitching coach Dan Roselle out of the dugout. Morris Hodges marked down that visit, so I believe it'll still count as one, even if a pitching change comes here. More about that later if they have 4 more. But the Cats go into the pen. Freshman right-hander Austin Strickland coming on. Valiant effort from Dylan Marsh. 5 scoreless innings. Cats trying to stay on top at inning number 6. Back here in Nashville, first relief pitcher we've seen on either side today is Austin Strickland, true freshman right-hander for UK. Coming out of the bullpen for the 15th time, also made a start this year. Been the best of a host of freshman arms that the Cats have had to use because of some injuries.
Yeah, and coming this time from the right side. So Cats trying to just kind of switch it up after going from Marsh from the left side. But Strickland got some good arm side run. Fastball going to be a little bit faster than Marsh. Pump it up there 90-92. Good breaking ball, a little bit firmer and a little bit more of a 12-6 depth. A good changeup as well.
Strickland's from the Cincinnati area, coming a state down to UK. 5+ for Dylan Marsh. No runs against him yet, but the 2 singles that led off his inning are at second or third as he talks with fellow hurler and also first base coach Trip Lockhart going over the outing. Talked about Trip last night. He coaches everybody up.
Yeah.
Love that. It's 1-0 on Isaiah Thomas. The only pitch we've had in the last many minutes here was a wild pitch that moved both the runners up to third. So Strickland inherits a 1-0 count. Hit him. Bases loaded. Nobody out, and Dominic Keegan coming up.
A tough situation to come into. Strickland most likely asked to come in and throw an off-seats pitch, first pitch. This time it kind of flips out of his hand and easily nicks Thomas, but definitely not a guy you want to load the bases for in Dominic Keegan.
Vandy's big bat hitting in the 3-hole. Hit his 11th homer of the season yesterday, but yet to put the ball in play tonight. 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts against Marsh. Called strike. Good fastball from Strickland.
Yeah, you see 93, you saw a good look at the movement. I mean, it started off outside and then ran back and just nicked the plate. Important for Strickland to just kind of settle down here.
Corner infielders in, middle guys back with a 2-0 lead. Hard ground ball right to Collette, who comes home for the force. Collette was playing in and they got the lead man. Stays 2-0.
Yeah, Collette was playing in, but he was also playing a little bit in the 4-hole. So he was giving up the double down the line, and it paid off for him. Great job getting the glove down, getting the lead runner at home. A huge play there for Strickland, getting the ground ball. Now, I mean, he's just a ground ball away from getting out of this thing unscathed.
Austin Strickland out of the UK bullpen. Hit Isaiah Thomas on his first pitch, then got Dominic Keegan to ground into a 3-2 fielder's choice for the first out. Bases still loaded with 1 out for Jack Bolger, the Vandy DH. Strike 1.
And kind of with the game, how the game went last night, somebody just had to step up and just come through. And that was Troy Leneve last night, and here Commodores have an opportunity to execute, and you know, the cards dealt. Just got to execute, and Jack Bolger see what he can do.
Called strike 2. It's 0-2. Strickland living away in this freshman versus freshman battle. Vandy had the bases loaded with nobody out. Dominic Keegan grounded into a fielder's choice. Kentucky leading 2-0, trying to even up this series in Nashville. Fouled back. Bolger stays alive.
Just missed it. They had an 0-2 count, and that ball kind of ran back over the plate just a little bit too much. Bolger was right on it. Nice hack.
Bradfield, the lead runner at third. Isaiah Thomas at second. And Dominic Keegan at first for the Vandy boys. Two of their fastest runners at third and second. Foul tip, strike three. Big second out for Austin Strickland.
It's a heck of a pitch there by Strickland. Had the slider on the outside corner. Definitely fooled him. Was out in front. Just tried to get a piece of it and foul it off, but nice job by Kessler hanging on.
Still loaded with two down for C.J. Rodriguez. Commodores had only had two base runners before this inning. They had three to start it. Nothing to show for it yet. Rodriguez, a couple of air outs so far. Line drive, left field, in for a base hit. Bradfield scores, Thomas headed home, and we are tied. Two-run single for C.J. Rodriguez. Snaps an 0 for 14 skid.
And Rodriguez didn't waste any time and came out swinging. And Tim Corbin had the windmill going quickly. There was no doubter that he was going to score two on that one. Take a look at the swing. Fastball in the outside corner, reaches around, drops right in front of Schultz. I actually didn't know if Tim Corbin was going to send him because the ball got to Schultz pretty quickly. But Thomas able to score pretty easily.
A 10 on the dismount from the Russian judge for Isaiah Thomas. It is a brand new ball game, 2-2. Yesterday it was Vandy who led 2-0. Kentucky tied it at 2-2 in the sixth inning. Tonight, role reversal, and Austin Strickland's done. He nearly got out of that bases loaded, nobody out jam. But the freshman allows a couple of runs to score. Cats going back to the bullpen for Cole Daniels. Commodores now trying to take the lead. Third pitcher of the game for Kentucky. We've seen all three of them here in this inning. Cole Daniels, the junior left-hander from Ann Arbor, Michigan, making his 16th appearance of the year. Was the Cats' best reliever the last two seasons. Struggled this year, though. 17 1/3 innings. Allowed 15 runs, 12 of which have been earned. The control has been the biggest issue. 14 walks in that span.
Yeah, you see the strikeout to walk ratio. But other than that, I mean, he's got good stuff. I mean, the fastball sitting around 89 to 90. It kind of throws across his body, so from the left side, it's difficult to pick up. And he's got two different types of breaking balls. Doesn't really have a changeup, but has the variations that a little bit sweepy and also a little bit more 12-6. Let's see if he can settle in here. And the Commodores looking to take the lead here in the bottom of the sixth.
Dylan Marsh went 5 scoreless, did not get an out in this inning, allowed 2 hits. Austin Strickland replaced him, hit Isaiah Thomas, then got 2 big outs, but then gave up the 2-run single. Bring the lefty on to face the lefty hitter Parker Noland, who's just 5 out of 40 against lefties this year for a 125 batting average. Dominic Keegan's at second base. C.J. Rodriguez at first after his game-tying 2-run single. South Carolina leading Tennessee in the 8th inning. If South Carolina wins that game and Vandy can win this one, Commodores would move into first place in the SEC East. Down and away, 1-0.
Yeah, we talked about, a lot can happen in these next 2 days, but a lot can happen here in the next few hours.
If Vandy wins this game, no matter what happens anywhere else, they guarantee a top 4 seed and a bye into double elimination Wednesday in Hoover. Kentucky needs a win today to stay alive and a chance for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that would be huge for Vandy. Just to be able to guarantee that spot. If you can stay out of the single elimination, you save yourself a game. Also get a little bit of rest and put yourself in the double elimination opportunity.
Swing and a miss. Daniels ahead of Nolan, 1-2. So what the Commodores need to do to clinch tonight, they can lock down that top 4 seed with a win or losses by both Florida and Ole Miss either tonight or tomorrow in combination. They can also lock down a top 3 seed tonight, but the top 4 is what really means the most to get you straight to Wednesday and out of the single elimination on Tuesday. Good take by Nolan, and it gets through. Second wild pitch of the inning, and the Commodores have 2 in scoring position with 2 outs.
Yeah, second gift by Kentucky. Moves 2 more guys from first and second on up into scoring position. Looked like that one just get right underneath Kessler. A big spot here for Nolan.
Dom Keegan at third, C.J. Rodriguez at second. 2-2 on Nolan. Left on left matchup. In the air, but too high out to center. Cam Hill makes the catch and the inning's over, but the Vandy boys tie the game. 3 hits, including a 2-run single by C.J. Rodriguez, make it 2-2 after 6. 2-2 ball game. Jack Leiter done after 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, and 89 pitches, Andrew.
He's been pretty good. I mean, he worked out of a few jams, with the fastball was really working tonight. The slider as well. Slider's really been kind of his out pitch all year. The fastball had a little extra life on. We saw it jumped up there about 97, 98. Another fantastic outing by the young pitcher.
He's replaced by Chris McElvain, fellow sophomore right-hander from Thompson Station, Tennessee, about 45 minutes south of Nashville in Williamson County. He's picked up a big bullpen role these last few weeks. Had extended outings out of the bullpen, 4 innings or longer against Georgia, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. One weekend as the Sunday starter did not go well, then right back to the bullpen for more multi-inning outings and successful ones against Bama and Ole Miss. Leiter's final line, 6 innings as he goes down to the bullpen to start his cool-down routine and maybe grab a jacket, get some love from his fellow Jersey boy, Nick Maldonado. Likely his final regular season start as a college pitcher. Vandy promised they would be limiting his workload going forward. Only 89 pitches tonight.
Yeah, I think he went 91 down in Oxford last weekend, and he goes 89 tonight. Get some love from Chris Ham.
The point of keeping Leiter out for a week to make sure he's ready for the postseason.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's no reason in running somebody into the ground when you know you have a huge opportunity to go far in the postseason. So with the postseason somewhat solidified for the Commodores, just a matter of where it's going to go. You got to give Leiter a little bit of rest and make sure he's rested up for the SEC tournament and start of regionals.
McElvain gets strike 1 into Chase Estep as Gonzalez vacates third base after the first pitch. Over to the right side for the pull shift. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Big old shift on here for Estep. You've got Kolwick still in the same spot. Gonzalez over in second base, and that's right to him.
Right to Parker Nolan for the first out. Assist to Parker Nolan, second assist to Brandon Barrick on the spray charts. Here's what the starters have done this series. Kamar Rocker and Jack Leiter for Vandy. Dylan Marsh and Cole Stupp for the Cats. Both 4 runs aside and no decisions for anybody as it goes 2-2 into the late innings for the second straight night.
Yeah, that gives you all you need to know about this entire series. I mean, no decision for all 4 starting pitchers. Been good ball games. Excited to see how this one ends tonight and should be on set for a good one tomorrow too.
2 o'clock Central, 3 Eastern tomorrow for the regular season finale. We'll have it for you on SEC Network Plus. Ryan Ritter 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts against Leiter. Another ground ball to Parker Nolan. 2 up, 2 down for Chris McElvain out of the Vanderbilt bullpen.
At the beginning of the season, they actually trained McElvain as a starter, but also kind of a hybrid guy. As you mentioned, Max and tried him out as a starter. It didn't go too well, but moved him back into the pen, and he's really been lights out. He's been very consistent, fills up the zone with strikes, and kind of a guy that they can rely on to get in and get some shutdown innings.
Zeke Lewis 0 for 2 as McElvain looks for the 1-2-3 inning. Vandy head coach Tim Corbin said earlier this week, we feel like Chris McElvain can help us twice per weekend. We want him to be someone we bring back. So he's had long outings, but also maybe an inning Friday, an inning Sunday in a postseason scenario. Always felt like McIlvain has that closer-style mentality no matter what role he's in.
Oh, yeah. I think we had Ty Duvall, who's former catcher here for the Commodores. We had him on a broadcast earlier on in the season. He said McIlvain always just wants to get in the game, wants to compete. It's just that type of mindset.
That was a strike to make it 0-2. Line drive, base hit into left field. Fourth hit for UK. 2-out knock for Zeke Lewis, trying to break this tie. So Lewis aboard with 2 down for the 9th hitter, Cam Hill. Center fielder 0 for 2. 0 for 5 since a bunt hit in the 2nd inning yesterday to start his weekend. Commodores looking for the shutdown 0 after tying the game last half inning on a 2-run single by C.J. Rodriguez. McIlvain misses down and away to Hill.
You know, this weekend, I mean, Kentucky obviously playing for a lot more than Vanderbilt, but for Vanderbilt, I mean, playing these close games, I mean, they had a walk-off last night, and playing here close here in the top of the 7th is super important. They haven't had to play too many close games later in the season and later in the game. But going to the postseason, I mean, you're going to play a lot more of those types of games. And so getting that experience here and kind of getting that momentum, if you can come out on top, are super important going into the SEC and in the regionals and supers.
Zeke Lewis is out in kickball, safe in baseball. That was fresh on Tim Corbin's mind last night. That was the first thing he said in his press conference. We hadn't played in a game like this.
Yeah, tightly contested game, good competition. You kind of go through that, and then if you're in the same situation later on, you kind of think, okay, we've been in this situation before, and this is kind of how we get out of it.
Swing and a miss from McIlvain. 1-1 on Cam Hill.
It's the exact same thing as just year to year if you're trying to build a program. I mean, Tim Corbin didn't just go straight to the World Series the first year he was there. I mean, it took getting to a regional, and then once you got to the regional, experiencing that, and then getting to the super, and then experiencing that, and then once you kind of fail at reaching the College World Series, you kind of become hungry and hungrier, and then by the time you get to the World Series, you say, okay, we've been here before now it's our time to win it. And once you get that point where you've tasted what it means to win a World Series, you're just trying to replicate that year after year. And I think Tim Corbin has done that since they won in 2014.
Runner going. Throw to second. Got him. C.J. Rodriguez to Tate Colwick, who's fired up after putting the tag on Zeke Lewis.
A heck of a throw from Rodriguez. Take a look at this thing. An absolute missile to Colwick. Tries to run. Colwick with the tag right on it. Commodores fired up, coming in, trying to get a lead. Commodores coming to bat.
Back here in Nashville, where Kentucky has challenged the out call at second base after C.J. Rodriguez caught Zeke Lewis stealing. So we're in video review, and we have our verdict. Call stands. Kentucky loses the challenge, and Vanderbilt puts up a 0 in the top of the 7th inning behind Chris McIlvain, erasing a 2-out single. Here's the play that was called out and stood.
Yeah, I'll take another look. Rodriguez throws. The tag. I think that the thing that they wanted to look at is because the tag was higher up on the chest, they wanted to see if Zeke Lewis's leg was in there before. That was a really good look at. I think it was right in there. He was able to tag him.
New pitcher for Kentucky to start this bottom of the 7th inning, Alex Deegan, the 6'8" junior right-hander from Reddington Township, New Jersey, and Hunterdon Central. So Deegan becomes the 4th pitcher of the game for the Cats, and the first one to take over a clean inning out of the pen after Marsh didn't get down the 5th, and Strickland and Daniels followed him. So Deegan out of the bullpen for UK. His 11th appearance, one of them was a start. 20 innings, 21 strikeouts, just 5 walks. He has had very good control.
Yeah, I mean, he's 6'8" as well, so he's throwing a 88, 91 mile an hour fastball, but it is coming at a high angle, so it's a very tough angle for the hitters to back.
So it'll be 7, 8, and 9 for the Vandy boys coming to bat. Tate Colwick, Troy Leneve, and Jason Gonzalez. Want to congratulate Alex Deegan. He was Kentucky's representative on the SEC Baseball Community Service Team announced earlier this week, working with the Ronald McDonald House in Lexington. Vanderbilt's representative Will Duff, the Duff Man, for leading the Commodores' efforts in the Dancing Doors Dance Marathon program. Every Vanderbilt sports team has a captain for Dancing Doors. Duff was the Commodore baseball team captain and helped the team raise over $4,000 in the fall. So congratulations to both of these guys and all 14 SEC representatives on the community service team. And they both can play too. We'll get to see Alex Deegan throw here. And an extended edition of Thank God I'm a Country Boy because of the review. I know Andrew Harris loves that.
It's good to see just fans in the stands. I mean, it's packed house here at Hawkins Field, and first weekend we've really seen it. Got to get ready for regionals and potential supers, so gotta get these guys ready.
Tate Colwick first in against Deegan. Tate's 0 for 2. Everybody ready? Umpires in position as Deegan misses outside. Vanderbilt tied the game 2-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-out, 2-run single by C.J. Rodriguez erased a 2-0 Cat lead. Appeal to first, no swing. 2-0 on Colwick. If Vanderbilt wins this game, they lock down a top 4 spot and a double elimination berth in the SEC tournament. Kentucky needs a win to keep their NCAA tourney hopes alive. Colwick ahead 3-0.
Yeah, Deegan trying to come in with the changeup. Hadn't had a good feel of the fastball or the changeup, and got to come here quick. Don't want to let that lead guy on.
4-pitch walk. Go ahead, run aboard in the 7th inning.
That's exactly what started the rallies for Vandy, or at least the potential rallies for Vandy last night. First pitch hit by pitch, or first batter hit by pitch, and first batter walk in the 8th and 9th innings.
9th inning, it was Colwick who walked ahead of Troy Leneve, who comes to the plate now. Last night, a 2-run walk-off homer in the 9th inning. Chance for him to be the 7th inning hero right now. He is 0 for 2 today after reaching base all 4 times last night with a homer, 2 singles, and a walk. Line drive, base hit into right field. Troy Leneve keeps on hitting, and it's 1st and 2nd with nobody out.
And I was going to say, probably not going to see a lot of things straight, but he got a fastball, and he took a whack at it, and here we are, runners on 1st and 2nd.
Troy Leneve has had a great late season. Tim Corbin earlier this week compared him to Xander Wheel, who was a redshirt freshman back in 2013, got into the starting lineup in week 7. Tim Corbin said it makes you think, why weren't we playing this guy all along? He's having the same thought with Troy Leneve.
Exactly. I mean, you never know the guys that you're going to insert in there and just get red hot, and there's always one of them every single season. And Troy Leneve has definitely been that guy for the Commodores. Really has been a spark plug, and it's provided a lot of energy, both power and also just a great guy to be around, and provides a lot of physical energy out there on the base paths too.
Dan Roselle out for a visit with Alex Deegan after back-to-back base runners to start the inning. Andrew, you were a 5th-year senior on that 2013 team with Xander Wheel, who was a redshirt freshman at the time.
Yep.
What's it like to be on the team when somebody like that gets in and gets hot?
Oh, it's nuts. I mean, you come off the bench and they just start raking, and you're like, who is this guy? But the thing is, you always know that they had it in there. You see how they work every single day, and you see the work that they put in, just like all the starters as well. But just to see guys like Leneve get in there and actually have some production, it's just so great to see.
Holt Jones warming up once again in the bullpen for UK. We saw him ready last inning as well. As they toss the football around too, that's Jimmy Ramsey. See a football in just about every college bullpen these days. That keeps the arm fresh. Kolwick walked, Lanieve singled, and now Jason Gonzalez for the Commodores. 2-2 game, bottom 7. Gonzalez shows bunt, pulls it back. Nearly hit his head and his bat. Ball 1.
I couldn't tell if that was a fastball or maybe he was trying to get on top of the curveball, but regardless, definitely rattled by the bat being there in the strike zone.
Gonzalez lined a single to right field his last time. He's 1 for 2. Vandy had just 2 base runners through the first 5 innings, all against Dylan Marsh. The last 2 innings, they've had 6. Loaded the bases with nobody out last inning, ended up getting a pair of 2-out runs. See what they can do here in the 7th. Gonzalez pulls the bunt back and takes ball 2.
Yeah, might have had a little gift there because that was pretty close. But Deegan has not been very close in the strike zone, so not going to get any of those corner pitches from Morris Hodges, the home plate umpire. Kentucky with a lot of signals, making sure everybody's on the same page.
Since he came in, Deegan has only thrown 1 strike. It was Laneve's single. Other than that, 6 misses.
Yeah, it looked like Kessler just yelled out to him, make him bunt it, let's go.
Throw to second. Great pick by Ritter to save a throwaway. Oh, he didn't pick it, actually. It hit Kolwick.
I was going to say, Kolwick picked that one with his leg.
Another kickball out. That's like hockey goalie style. Just dive back in and hope the puck stays under you.
And more than anything, Kentucky just trying to keep Kolwick close by at second base to potentially get the force out at third. So Ritter, the shortstop, is going to be right on his hip, making sure he's there.
Gonzalez sacrifices towards first. Collette bobbles it. Still gets the out at first. That was actually a helpful bobble, I think.
And that's exactly, they were trying to go to third base. You actually saw Collette come in and kind of square up his shoulders to get Kolwick at third base towards for the force. Take a look. So he's going for it. He tries to get it, realizes he doesn't have it, loses it, has to go back to first base. So good job of just grabbing it and getting the easy out at first.
Scored 3-4 on the sacrifice with the second baseman Lewis covering. Tate Kolwick, a little bit of a raspberry popped on that slide back into second. Some blood on his right knee.
Got him.
That's my quarterback right there. QB1 at third base. The go-ahead run right now, and Enrique Bradfield Jr. is intentionally walked to load him up with 1 out for Isaiah Thomas. This worked for Kentucky yesterday in the 8th inning. Got the double play.
Yeah, you just want to get the force out at all bases in case, you kind of drawn as an infielder closer into the holes, you can make an easier play. But Thomas with a huge opportunity here for the Commodores.
Thomas hit by a pitch and scored a run last inning. 0 for 2 against the starter Marsh prior to that. Facing Alex Deegan with the sacks full and 1 away. Tie game in the 7th. Called strike right at the letters. Not much hitting with men on base for either team. Kentucky 1 out of 8, Vandy 3 out of 10 when there have been men on the bases. Kentucky needs a double play to get out of it with the corner infielders in. 0-1 to Thomas. 1-1.
Yeah, tough draw here for Deegan. He's trying to make sure Thomas doesn't get too much to hit. You see Vandy offense. 7 on base in the last 2 innings. Just have not really been able to capitalize.
Kentucky led 1-0 and 2-0. Thomas towards third and into left field. Vandy boys take the lead with Lanieve headed home. It's 4-2. 2-run go-ahead single for Isaiah Thomas.
I think the defensive alignment kind of helped out Thomas there because it looked like Eastep was playing in, hoping for a ground ball to either go home or go to second base, but because he was pulled in, he didn't have the greatest angle on the ball towards his left. So it gets underneath his glove, and Commodore's easily able to score 2 right there. Tim Corbin with the big windmill. We talked multiple times, a lot of times Tim Corbin just kind of has the simple point, but if he gets into it, you'll see that arm start waving.
We had an umpire go down. We had Troy Leneve going a hard 180 in from second. And Isaiah Thomas with 2 big ribeyes to put Vandy ahead 4-2. Same score they won by last night. Tonight they had to come back as a pickoff throw goes way behind second as called. Zeke Lewis was waiting for it. So now Bradfield at second, Thomas at first with Dominic Keegan hitting. Second straight at bat with multiple runners on. He hit with the bases loaded and nobody out last inning. Grounded it to first base for a fielder's choice. Another look to second. So Bradfield was intentionally walked. It's fine. He's the trail runner and the bases loaded. He can't run. Well, now he's the lead man at second with 1 out.
Right.
The SEC's leading base stealer. 27 out of 30 in conference games. And Dan Roselle's headed back to the mound. Holt Jones has been throwing. We'll see if that's it for Alex Deegan.
Yeah, it looks like it will.
Holt Jones coming in, 5th Kentucky pitcher of the game. They need this one, and now they're trailing 4-2 after Isaiah Thomas hits a 2-run single. Welcome back to Nashville. Another pitching change for Kentucky. Holt Jones out of the bullpen, his 19th appearance of the season. 18 of them have been relief outings. Allowed 26 hits and 10 walks over 27 innings of work. 25 strikeouts over that time for the senior transfer who pitched the last 3 years at Clemson. He's from Santa Monica, California in LA. Now making his way with the Wildcats in his senior year.
Yeah, another guy, 6'8". They got some tall drinks of water on this staff. They come in with a good fastball too. I mean, one of the harder throwers on this staff, 91, bumps up about 94. Good tall breaking ball and changeup. And mixes all those around. Kind of fixed with the fastball and changeup to the right-handers.
Great crowd here in Nashville. Dominic Keegan coming to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Commodores now leading 4-2 on a 2-run single by Isaiah Thomas earlier this inning.
They actually even had a good crowd last night on a school night even. Commodore fans just ready to get out and about and come to the Hawk for some good baseball. Kind of been cooped up and having to watch it online for so long.
Great to see everybody back at the yard. Bradfield at second, Thomas at first. Holt Jones, first year with Kentucky, on the mound. Strike 1. Drops a curveball in on Keegan.
Yeah, Jones just came out firing. Good feel of the breaking ball.
Bradfield takes off, caught in between, now headed for third, and they got him. Bradfield left early, and Holt Jones executed the rundown well.
Yeah, caught me off guard as well. Even caught his infield off. Bradfield kind of tried to time him up, and Jones just, I think was expecting more of just like a, hey, I'm going to show him, hey, I'm going to move. I'm not actually going to try and pick him off, but as he picked him off.
0-2 on Keegan. Nice tag by Estep on the back of Bradfield's leg after most of his body had gotten by him. It was nearly a slide that broke through. Good play by Estep, the third baseman. Score at 1-5. Way high, 1-2. Jones on the mound, again pitched the last 3 years at Clemson. He was a freshman on the Tiger team that hosted Vandy in a regional in 2018 for the second straight year. And for the second straight year, Vandy won that regional as the 2 seed. Jones did not pitch in any of those games. Foul tip, Strike 3. So Jones come on and does his job, but the Commodores go up 4-2 on a 2-run single by Isaiah Thomas.
Autonomous vehicle.
What are INQ, a fund that NASDAQ 100?
Of innovation.
If you, then O. Your style makes always a way to make life better.
Vandy's trailed since the second batter of the game, but they got 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th to go ahead 4-2. It was Kentucky who came back last night, and Vandy ended up walking it off after leading most of the way. Reverse of that so far tonight. The fans love it here in Nashville. Chris McIlvaine back out for his second inning of relief for Vandy. Worked around a 2-out single and a caught stealing in the 7th. Will face 9-1-2, Cam Hill, Austin Schultz, and TJ Collette. All this after Jack Leiter went 6 and exited down 2-0. Vandy tied at 2-2 right as he came out. McIlvaine misses down and away to Cam Hill, who was up when Zeke Lewis was caught stealing second last inning. Two and out.
Yeah, this will be one of the more important innings that McIlvaine pitches this entire weekend. I mean, Vandy did a great job coming back. Super important for your pitcher to come back in the next half inning and get a shutdown inning, especially here late in the game.
Out to center. Bradfield sees it. At the warning track, he makes the catch. Long fly ball from Cam Hill, but nothing to show for it.
A little nervous here at the ballpark. You hear a kind of a gasp, but that ball was hit pretty well in the deepest part of the park. But just a long out.
Top of the order, Austin Schultz 0 for 3 as the Cats hit for the 4th time. All these guys facing McIlvaine for the first time. Schultz 0 for 7 in the series with 4 strikeouts. Swing and a miss. Half-hearted swing, fooled by the slider. McIlvaine, like Leiter, throws 2 breaking balls. The slider almost plays like a cutter, as we saw there. That one grounded towards short. Long charge for Colwick. Throw to first, way late. First hit of the series for Austin Schultz, and the tying runs coming to the plate in the man of TJ Collette.
This is a tough play. I mean, it's such a high chopper and a slow roller. The only play would probably have been Gonzalez to grab it. But just kind of put it in the right place at the right time.
Tate Colwick, the same hairstyle as Carter Young, whose place he is filling, with the Vandy Boys gator, which was supposed to be worn as a mask, turning into a headband. So very purposeful from the Vandy middle infield. That's how Carter Young had been wearing his. Tate Colwick filling in for him. And it looks like it'll be it for Chris McIlvaine. He will not get a chance to face TJ Collette as Tim Corbin comes out to the mound. So an inning and a third for McIlvaine, and they'll go left on left. The senior Hugh Fisher coming on for the Vandy Boys in a big spot to protect a 2-run lead.
And home plate umpire Morris Hodges saying you got to get it going. I know you're getting them, Hugh Fisher free, ready to go, but let's keep it going.
Not a pace of play day at Hawkins Field. Hugh Fisher coming in, trying to keep the Commodores up 2. Hugh Fisher in the game for the Commodores, sporting that new SEC graduate patch on his right sleeve. Senior left-hander from Eads, Tennessee, and Briarcrest Christian School in Memphis. Taking on a bigger role in the SEC bullpen, making his 5th conference appearance. Last week against Ole Miss, he threw a scoreless 8th inning on Friday in relief of Kamar Rocker, allowed a hit, got a strikeout, and looked really, really good.
Yeah, he really did. And I think Tim Corbin and pitching coach Scott Brown just wanted to get him some more reps in a tight situation in preparation for the postseason, but also you want the left-on-left matchup. against arguably one of the better hitters in the entire Kentucky lineup.
Fisher has only allowed 2 hits this entire season in 9 1/3 innings over 10 appearances. He has surrendered 8 walks. Fisher against T.J. Collette. The big bat for Kentucky. Reached base all 3 times this game and swings right over Fisher's slider.
Yeah, that slider just wipe out. I mean, as a left-hander, it starts behind you and it goes across your body and across the plate. Really, really got to stay on it. Got to make some quick adjustments.
Another one ends up way outside. So Collette's seen that breaking ball twice now. Collette homered in the first inning to make it 1-0 Kentucky. Led off the 4th inning with a single. Scored the Cats' second run. That made it 2-0. First time he's hit without Kentucky ahead. Up the middle. Another base hit just out of Colwick's reach. First and second with 1 down, and Araja New next. You got a lefty bat, a switch hitter in Anu, and then another lefty in Kessler, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll see if Vandy sticks with Fisher.
That was a fastball that just ran over the middle of the plate. I mean, he had 2 sliders that Collette was really confused on and did not have good swings on, or at least an attempted swing. And the fastball was supposed to be a little bit further out as well, but that one ran back in. Collette was ready for it. Kentucky here, opportunity to put one on the board, runner in scoring position.
Tying run at first base as Araja New turns around to bat right-handed as a switch hitter for the first time this series against Fisher. Anu 0 for 2 today, walked in the first inning, a couple of strikeouts, so yet to put the ball in play. He does have better hitting numbers as a left-handed batter against right-handed pitchers, so the Commodores turning him in his less successful direction. Anu just 8 out of 51 hitting right-handed this year for a 157 average. Fastball inside, 1-0.
Yeah, if you're Fisher, all you need here is just a ground ball. Just get on the ground, let the defense turn the double play, and get back in the dugout. If you're Anu, got to keep the ball out of the middle of the infield. Do not keep the ball down. Just got to get something elevated hitting the outfield.
Swing and a miss. 1-1.
That was 95. There's some serious movement. And Fisher's ball, it doesn't matter if it's a slider or fastball, it's moving all over the place.
Tim Corbin said after Fisher's inning last week, he was throwing razor blades up there. That's how sharp his pitches were. See what he dials, 1-1. Off the fist, right to Nolan. 1 at second, double play. Hugh Fisher does the job on senior night. Commodores up 4-2 in the middle of the 8th inning. (4-2) Vandy, bottom of the 8th inning here in Nashville. Max Hers and Andrew Harris with you. That Little League team is called the Mafia.
Wow, don't mess with those guys.
Don't root against the Mafia. You want to be on the Mafia's side. That is an awesome team name. So shout out to the Mafia wherever you're from. The Vandy Nation has been out here all weekend, assembling the beer bottles right on the outfield wall. Great to see everybody back at the ballpark this weekend, having a great time. Series finale at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
I was going to say, and filling up the outfield stands too.
4, 5, and 6 for Vandy against Holt Jones, looking for some insurance in the 8th inning, leading by 4-2. Jack Bolger takes a breaking ball, strike 1. Bolger, Rodriguez, and Nolan. Jack had Vandy's first 2 hits in his return to the starting lineup as the DH. Those were the only 2 hits for Vandy through the first 5 innings. They got 2 runs in each of their last 2 offensive innings. Same score they won by last night, a 4-2 advantage. Vandy can lock down a buy into the double elimination portion of Hoover with a win. Jack Bolger to deep center and gone. Jack Bolger way out of here. He missed first, and it's 5-2.
A heck of a swing from Bolger. Holy cow, he gets inserted in the game He has made his presence known. Hits it to the furthest part of the park. And gets a few jokes from his teammates as he forgot to touch first base.
It was a Mark McGuire tribute, everybody.
Take a look at the swing. Fastball up in the zone. Just such a strong kid. Gets really through it. Gets everything into it. Let's take a look at rounding first. Oh! I think he tripped over it, but he wanted to make sure. Make sure he got it. Got it. All right, going back. Here we go.
Got plenty of time to jog around when that ball lands that far away. What a shot by Jack Bolger, his 5th homer of the season as a freshman. Hadn't started any of the last 4 games. Commodores have gone with more of a platoon at DH. Tim Corbin said it's more matchup than righty-lefty, but it had been Spencer Jones against some righty starters.
You had Jones last night.
Rodriguez hits one hard to left. Foul ball. Oh, so close to another extra base hit. South Carolina has defeated Tennessee 3-2 in Columbia. So if Vanderbilt wins this game, they can jump into first in the SEC East, which guarantees you either the 1 or the 2 seed in Hoover. Florida and Arkansas finally underway after a lengthy rain delay on the SEC network. Gators up 3-0. That bomb Walker early on. Two and 2 on Rodriguez. So if Vanderbilt wins tonight and Arkansas loses, again, it's early over there because of the rain delay. But if that happens tonight and again tomorrow, Vandy could be the SEC champs, but a lot more baseball still to be played for that. Like we said, it's very tight this final weekend. There's nobody who doesn't have anything to play for, which is rare.
Exactly. It's always tight. But usually, you know, towards the end of the season, stuff's kind of wrapped up, but still a lot to go.
Another line drive to left. Rodriguez keeps this one fair into the corner. A home run and a double to start the Vandy 8th, working with a 3-run lead.
That was an impressive swing. It was 95 inside. He was able to turn on it. You know, quick hands from Rodriguez. Nice wide stance. And the biggest thing is that he was able to keep it fair. And the last one he kind of hooked. This time kept his hands inside, kept it down the foul line. Commodore's starting to have a little explosion here.
Vanderbilt 7 hits in the last 3 innings. But before this inning, they had not had an extra base hit. How about 2 of them from Bolger and Rodriguez? Kessler goes to the mound before Nolan bats. We'll have the regular season finale for these 2 teams at 2 o'clock Central Time tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern for our friends in Lexington. If you found us tonight, you can find us again tomorrow in the same manner on SEC Network Plus. Hopefully you can find us faster than Morris Hodges finds his way to the mound meeting. A couple more relievers ready to go for Kentucky. It's Zach Lee and Seth Logue. Sorry, not Zach Lee. That's 38. Jimmy Ramsey and Seth Logue. Zach Lee, the expected starter tomorrow. We know for sure that it'll be Pat Riley for Vandy. 2 Central here at the Hawk. It is Tony Kemp bobblehead day.
Got to get here earlier, get a hands on those.
Get excited.
I believe those were supposed to be handed out last season.
They've been waiting for you.
They have.
Here we go. Holt, Jones, Parker, Nolan, or not.
The real question, do you think they send one to Tony for his locker? You got to, right?
Oh, you have to. Here comes Dan Roselle for the pitching change. Tony Kemp has the best man cave of anybody in pro sports. He is a big jersey swapper. And he's got a lot of great framed jerseys from all across sports on the wall.
Yeah.
A lot of Vandy guys, some Vandy football guys too. Let's see if this is a pitching change or not. Morris Hodges out there quickly to figure things out. We wish him luck.
Oh, we're going to make a pitching change.
There it is.
Interesting.
5th reliever for the Cats. Now down 5-2. Austin Strickland, Cole Daniels, Alex Deegan, and Holt Jones. And now Jimmy Ramsey coming on for UK. Jimmy Ramsey just starting his warm-up tosses on the mound for Kentucky, coming out of the UK bullpen. Senior from Minnetonka, Minnesota. 15 2/3 innings on the season. In 5 SEC appearances, he's allowed 9 runs in 6 innings of work. On here in a day where Kentucky's had to go deep in their bullpen, trailing 5-2. Someone's up past their bedtime, 9:15 local time. Great game. So many Vandy fans seeing the team for the first time this weekend with the expanded capacity. And how can you not have fun at the ballpark?
Seriously. Trying to pump up the crowd. Let's go.
It'll be Parker Nolan, then Tate Colwick for the Commodores. This inning started with a Jack Bolger homer and followed by a CJ Rodriguez double. You can enjoy some warm-up pitches from Jimmy Ramsey.
And Ramsey, another guy over 6'8". I mean, he's 6'9", 255, big guy. Got 90-94 on the fastball, good-looking breaking ball, changeup. I mean, changeup is pretty firm as well, but a good amount of sink.
This pitching change was longer than the top of the 2nd and 3rd inning combined when Jack Leiter threw just 14 pitches.
You know, fans hadn't been here in a while, so just trying to make sure everyone gets their money's worth.
Do you ever think about what percentage of your life you've spent at a ballpark?
Multiple times, Max.
Too many times?
Too many times.
Nowhere we'd rather be on this weekend. Final regular season games. And we are finally ready to get back to baseball. The Bombers are in the house. So we got the Mafia and the Bombers.
The Mafia and the Bombers. I'm glad they're all in the outfield.
We got to get those guys together. So Rodriguez back to second. Parker Nolan hitting. He's 0 for 3. First pitch from Jimmy Ramsey. Bunted and bounced behind the plate, foul. Just 2 runs in the first 5 innings this series. Those both came last night. But some big numbers in the late innings. 7 runs, including 5 tonight. 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and 1 already here in the 8th on Bolger's homer. Line foul. Parker Nolan is a guy who likes slower paced games. He likes talking to guys on the other team. He did it when he was playing first base back in March. Actually got a little too chatty with some of the opposition, and Tim Corbin had to tell him, calm it down, Parker, lock in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of downtime in baseball, so kind of get lonely at first base, chat it up.
Oklahoma State used 2 different first base coaches that weekend in a non-conference series. Their names were Matt Holliday and Robin Ventura. 2 guys I would talk to if they were standing next to me.
100%.
Breaking ball down, 2-2 on Nolan.
A well-executed pitch there, and good job by Nolan not chasing the changeup down the zone.
Check swing, appeal to third. He went. John Bramer rings up Parker Nolan for the first out of the 8th.
The exact same pitch, and Nolan just not able to hold up. Down the zone, right underneath the bat. Let's see if the barrel passes the front. Oh, it looked a little closer there, but third base umpire John Bramer said he went around.
So Rodriguez still at second. Finally one out for Tate Kolwick, who walked and scored in the 7th. Up high, 1-0 on Tate. Kolwick's now started at 3 different positions as a college player for Vandy. Was the opening day center fielder last year. Played second for the majority of this season. The last 2 nights played shortstop with Carter Young out. Commodores hope they could have Young back sometime in the next couple of weeks. The MRI in his dislocated shoulder was not as bad as it could have been. Did reveal some damage, but no surgery. He'll be recovering and trying to get back.
Yeah, didn't really see him in the sling the other day, and he was actually running around pretty good, so definitely was good to see.
Tapper towards third. Long charge for Estep. Safe at first. First and third with 1 down.
I don't think Kolwick could have put that anywhere better if he bunted it. Took the swing, little chopper. Estep was playing pretty far back and actually made a pretty good play on it. Just beat it by a few steps.
Rodriguez hung back until Estep made the throw to go second to third. Commodores on the corners with 1 out for Troy Leneve. Leneve for his first 2 tonight, but a line drive single to right field and scored a run last time in the last inning. Down and in, 1-0. Leneve, the walk-off hero last night, has a chance to put this game out of reach. Commodores up 3, still just 1 out in this 8th. Center field. Dead center. And out of here. 3-run homer for Troy Leneve, who just keeps on hitting. It's 8-2 Vandy.
Wow. That's all you gotta say is wow. That kid just continues to hit. You saw the reaction from Hill, the center fielder, like, oh, again? This time with a few guys on. Take a look at the swing. Fastball, I mean, it's right down the middle. You saw Ramsey point up and say, that's a pop fly. It's a little bit more than that. I mean, that is rattling off the batter's eye. See the reaction there from his buddy.
CJ knew it, and Troy knew it too. Second homer in as many games for Leneve. He now has 4 home runs in his first 7 college starts, all in the last 3 series. Vanderbilt scored 8 runs, all in the last 3 innings. They were down 2-0 in the middle of the 6th when Jack Leiter came out of the game. The Vandy boys have blown this one open with a pair of 8th-inning homers. 2-0 on Jason Gonzalez.
I mean, that's just unbelievable. I mean, to hit a walk-off last night and then kind of a nail in the coffin tonight, that's... And for a guy who hadn't had much experience, just get in there and say, I'm taking control of this game and taking control of this series. What a series and what a past few weeks for Troy Leneve.
Two and two on Gonzalez now. Leneve says he's always been a power hitter, but the biggest difference he made from high school, where he could hit the ball hard and hit it a long way, to college, was refining it, and his word was simplifying it. A lot of that has been strength and a couple of little changes with his swing. But the muscle he added is what he says has pushed him over the top. Jimmy Ramsey still working to Gonzalez. Full count pitch. Ball 4. 5 of the 6 batters have reached for Vandy in this 8th inning. Going from 4-2 to 8-2. Happy Commodore bunker, and Nick Mingione looking for answers on that lineup card on the other side. Barring a lengthy SEC tournament run, this may be the end of the road for Kentucky if they can't win this series.
Yeah, if they can't win the series, they're definitely going to have to make a huge run in the SEC tournament.
The magic number to get in for SEC teams is 14 conference wins, which is under 500.
Right.
So if you look at that, some places, it's not great, but in
Right.
the SEC, 14 wins is what gets you in because of the strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They're 11-17 right now. Chance for more in Hoover starting on Tuesday. They know they'll be a part of single elimination day. 2-0 on Bradfield. If the Commodores get 3 more outs in the top of the 9th, they will be locked in to Wednesday into the double elimination portion of Hoover. Kessler out for a visit, and they may have maxed out on visits.
Oh.
Morris Hodges says, no, sir, you've made 6.
Did Kessler say, no, it wasn't a visit. I had to fix something on my shin guard here. Okay, so he called time, tried to go out. The home plate umpire, Morris Hodges, said, no, you can't go visit.
I'm going to give a lot of credit to Morris Hodges, because if that was 6, then that means he counted a couple of the pitching changes as visits.
Correct.
Because they took too long.
Right.
Which I think should count every time. If you don't make an immediate pitching change and a coach is out there, that's a visit.
Right.
You get 6 visits in a game. 3 of those can involve a coach, and that includes offensive timeouts too. Two and 2 on Bradfield now. Bradfield asks for time and gets it. Commodores with 4 runs in this inning on a pair of home runs. Jack Bolger a solo shot to lead it off. Troy LaNeve a 3-run homer with 1 out. Both out to center and both a long way.
Yeah, well, we had pretty good pace going into, I guess, probably the 6th inning. From then on, it is taken pretty far every inning.
Fouled off as Gonzalez runs on the 3-2 1-out pitch. Commodore still playing the inning, not the scoreboard, running with 1 out and a 3-2 count. Second full count pitch to Bradfield. Fouled off again.
Yeah, look like Gonzalez going again as well. I don't think Ramsey is thrown over, so just continues to get a few steps, gets a good lead. Until Ramsey proves he can, oh, there we go. Trying to keep him close over there, make sure he's staying put.
Third full count pitch from Jimmy Ramsey to Enrique Bradfield Jr. Fouled off again. He's seen 8. Enrique Bradfield Jr. wears jersey number 51 as assigned to him by Tim Corbin for reasons unknown. Maybe we'll find out someday. Corbs keeps that a secret. Only guy who's played in all 51 games this year for Vandy, and he might see 51 pitches by the time this at-bat's over. That's 9 and 4 straight 3-2 fouls.
Yeah, Ramsey continued to put the ball in the exact same spot in the outside corner. And Bradfield's fouled it off. Great AB, great little matchup here.
We did find out from Tim Corbin at the end of J.J. Bladay's career He gave him number 51 because he reminded him of Bernie Williams.
Yeah, I was going to say that was definitely a balk. Ramsey said he stepped off, but I think it was before, or it was after, when he kind of made that flinch. We'll take a look here. So you see he makes a move and then tries to step off. Even the kid behind the plate called it.
Tenth pitch to Bradfield. To center. Hill's there. Throws back to second, and Gonzalez is in. Second out of the inning. Commodores will send their 8th hitter to the plate in Isaiah Thomas. Enrique Bradfield Jr. gets a big round of applause for that 10-pitch at bat. Thomas had a 2-run single past the third baseman last time. That put Vandy ahead 4-2. Commodores have scored the last 8 runs in this ball game. Vandy did the same thing against Mississippi State in their series finale 4 weeks back. Commodores were down 4-0 in that game, scored the final 7 runs and won.
That's a sign of a good team. I mean, you fight hard early, and then towards the end of the game, you just start to separate yourself. And having the ability to close out games offensively and really try not to leave anything to chance.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. Commodores looking to lock down their 7th SEC Series win in Week 10. One and two. Jimmy Ramsey gets his signal from the dugout, as they always do with the runner on second. Check of the wristband. 1-2 pitch to Thomas. Outside, 2-2. South Carolina did hang on and beat Tennessee 3-2. Another great outing from Brett Carey, who we saw in relief week 1. He's in the rotation now and doing great. So Vandy, if they hold on and win this game, takes over first place in the SEC East with 1 game to go and controls their own destiny. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The Commodores send 8 men to the plate in a lengthy 8th inning with 2 homers. Jack Bolger out to center field, nearly hit Larry Copeland in the camera hut. And then Troy Leneve with another Yinzer bomb to make it 8-2 Vandy. Vanderbilt 8 runs in the late innings to jump from 2-0 down to 8-2 ahead, looking to win this series against Kentucky in game number 2. Commodores with a 4 spot in the bottom of the 8th, and they'll go back to the bullpen for this 9th inning with their relief ace Nick Maldonado taking over, sophomore right-hander from Short Hills, New Jersey. Become Vanderbilt's best bullpen arm this year, 31 1/3 innings of work, just 5 walks and 16 hits against him for a whip well under 1. He did allow 2 runs in his last start. That doubles the amount of runs he's allowed this season from 2 to 4. He went 3 innings of relief, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings last Sunday in Oxford against Ole Miss after he did not pitch in the first 2 games. Came in with Vandy down, able to pitch them all the way into the 6th inning as Vandy was trying to pull off a long-term comeback that game, down 10-2. Vanderbilt looking to take the first 2 games of this series, and after they did it basically every weekend to start the year, it's been a while since they won both Rocker and Leiter starts in the same weekend.
Exactly.
They did take the first 2 against Alabama, but Leiter did not pitch that weekend. So it's been a while for what was at one point an automatic combination, but the competition of SEC, of course, changes that. 4, 5, and 6 in the Kentucky lineup. Colton Kessler is up first against Maldonado.
Yeah, it's the competition, but also, I mean, the scouting reports get better, and you kind of think, you watch all the different games, and you say, hey, this is how we're going to attack Rocker, this is how we're going to attack Leiter, and sometimes if they don't have their best stuff, sometimes you can catch them on an off night, and that's just the tail of the tape in the SEC. Every single time you go out there, you got to be ready to go.
Kessler 0 for 3. 2-1 on him from Maldonado, who has been throwing in the mid-90s his last handful of appearances with a four-seam fastball. He was relying on the two-seam fastball exclusively early in the season, as he did last year, but he's added a four-seamer. He's a five-pitch guy now. 2-2.
Yeah, more than anything, I mean, he just pumps strikes, and you know exactly what you're going to get out of him. Very consistent. That's why they throw him out there. Throwing him out there here in the top of the ninth here at the pretty big league kind of shows you their mindset. They want to shut the door here and get the series win.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's a cutter from Maldonado in on the hands.
Yeah, it's 88 with check out the action on this thing. That's unbelievable. And with the speed and the depth, it's really tough to pick up.
Maldonado early in the season played off of the two-seam fastball and the cutter. He said he loves those two pitches together because they're running in different directions, and in his words, nothing stays straight. That's a slider for strike 1. A little bit of deceleration from Maldonado. 0-1 on John Rhodes. Line drive the other way and foul. Maldonado quickly ahead, 0-2. This game turned on its head. Vandy was down 2-0 all the way into the 6th inning. Couldn't score against Dylan Marsh. That changed in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. C.J. Rodriguez, a 2-run single to make it 2-2. 7th inning, Isaiah Thomas, another 2-run single to put Vandy ahead for good at 4-2. And homers from Bolger and Leneve in the 8th made it 8-2. Nick Maldonado, after an inning tonight, presumably could come back tomorrow if this 9th inning is all that's asked of him and this game ends. Commodores used Luke Murphy for 2 innings yesterday. Ended up the winning pitcher on the walk-off. Line to right. Into the gap and to the wall for extra bases. Rhodes at second with a 1-out double. Kentucky trying to keep this ball game going.
It's a good looking swing there by Rhodes. With a fastball in the outside corner. Just went right with it. They one hop the fence. Just trying to keep Kentucky in this thing and trying to turn the lineup over.
JC steps next. He had an RBI single for Kentucky's last run in the 4th inning. That made it 2-0. Opposite way. Looks like it'll land out of play as Leneve gives it a look, and it's into the Vandy bullpen. He stepped 1 for 3 in the ball game. Couple of ground outs to go with that run scoring single. Swing and a miss.
Ooh.
Another cutter from Maldonado.
Yeah, good look at the cutter. It's a lot of people just swing straight over it, again, because they think it's the fastball, but it's just enough break to get underneath the barrel.
Maldonado added that pitch this season. His middle name is Mariano, named after Mariano Rivera. Born to throw a cutter. Tries to go backdoor there. Did not get strike 3.
I thought he got it. Maybe a little bit low. A little extra help from Rodriguez pulling it back up.
Round ball. Foul. Stays 1-2 on Chase Estep. Maldonado in the fall did what Pat Riley did a couple weeks ago. Just tried a cutter grip, and it worked right off the bat. Easy as that. You got a cutter now.
Must be nice.
And Pat Riley's middle name isn't even Mariano. Bradfield on his horse. Gets there with plenty of time in center. 2 down. The Vandy boys are an out away from clinching the series and taking the SEC East lead. Ryan Ritter will be Kentucky's last chance. Jack Leiter went 6 innings. Chris McIlvain pitched the 7th and got the first out of the 8th. Hugh Fisher came on and got a big double play to preserve a 4-2 lead last inning. Now Nick Maldonado 1 out away in the 9th. Colwick charges. Tough play at short. Vandy boys win! The Commodores win the series over Kentucky and have a chance to claim the SEC East Division tomorrow.
A fantastic performance by Leiter again, then huge offensive production from guys like Leneve. And I actually think they might be reviewing this.
If this win holds, Vandy takes over first place in the SEC East. Jackson Kelly's going to walk off with the rosin bag, whether the umps like it or not. In official review, there are no challenges after the 7th inning, so you didn't think this game was going to let you go without one more wiggle off the hook, Andrew Harris.
A heck of a play by Colwick. And in real time, it actually looked like he was safe.
The call on the field was out and ball game over.
And that's even closer than I was expecting. I thought it was a pretty generous call on the to end a game there. But that is a lot closer than it seemed. So first base umpire Wes Hamilton had a better look than I did up here.
2 weeks ago tonight, Vandy also ended an SEC win on a review that was originally called out and stayed their way on a grounder to take Colwick at second. Tonight it's Colwick at short, who has the last out for now. The folks in Birmingham will be up late anyway tonight. Arkansas and Florida are just getting going after a rain delay, so what's one more call from Nashville for them to handle? Regardless of how this one ends, we'll talk to you at 2 Central tomorrow for the regular season finale. 3 o'clock Eastern time on SEC Network Plus, ESPN app. One more time with our amazing Vandy Nashville crew. And then our crew will be back with some ESPN announcers for regionals and possible supers here in Nashville. But we love everybody who we work with here, and on nights like this, they are warriors. And at least it's not raining or snowing or icing on our camera guys. Got a little bit of everything this year. If this call stays out, the ball game's over. Safe. We play on. Don't tell anybody that Jackson Kelly is the Roz bag. So the fans will stick around. Ryan Ritter is aboard on an infield hit, and Zeke Lewis bats. Rhodes went second to third on the hit, so men at the corners with 2 down for Lewis, who's 1 for 3. Had a single through the left side off McIlvain his last time in the 7th. Two-seamer down and away from Maldonado. Lewis, the 5th-year senior from Atlanta. Been hot in his 11th game back from an injury. He's had a hit in every single game that he's been back after hurting his hand. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And during that time, when umpires were taking a look, I mean, Maldonado didn't throw anything, so he's kind of coming back after sitting for a while. But nonetheless, pumping strikes.
One and 2.
The fans are back on their feet, trying to get the third out again.
Nick Maldonado trying to finish off Zeke Lewis and the Cats. Grounder to Gonzalez. Throw to first. Got him! Vandy boys win! 8-2, and this time it'll stand, and the Commodores, for real, lead the SEC East with 1 game to go this year.
Well, it took us a while to get here, Max, but we finally got here. Great performance by Leiter and Troy Leneve, and another huge home run. Commodores going for the sweep tomorrow and trying to get some good momentum going into SEC, and Kentucky kind of with their backs against the wall.
Commodores locked down a top 4 spot and a bye into double elimination at the SEC tournament. Cooper Davis high-fives himself, and we high-five our great crew here in Nashville. Our producers, Doug Stanton, John Walgren's our director this weekend. For my partner, Andrew Harris, and everybody here in Nashville, we'll talk to you at 2 Central tomorrow. The Vandy boys score the final 8 runs to win at 8-2 and take the series. This has been a presentation of the SEC ESPN Network.